never get used to what side the camera is which. Left hand. It's diagonal. Ah, whatever. This is why I can't be on camera. Because I'm terrible. But that's neither here nor there right now at the moment. So, for now, I'm going to just forget all those thoughts and play some Ace Attorney. Get back into this. See if I can remember what voices I gave to what people. Because my memory's terrible. My memory is absolute trash. Anyway, what part were we on? I think someone... Yes. The gas company's investigation. Okay, yeah. He's going to tell us, and juror number 4 apparently is going to supervise him or something like that. Is this the part we have to read in voices?
Shut up and take my money.
I
Shut up
would...
and take my money. Shut up and...
Professor Lycan, thank you so much for the 69 biddies. That's very nice. But how you doing, sir? Welcome in. How have you been? I feel like it's been a while since I've seen you. How's life treating you? You doing okay? I personally am playing Great Ace Attorney and enjoying it. I just gotta hopefully remember what all the voices I'm doing are. I know this guy was like a duh. I just can't really remember it. It has, but that's because my job keeps me pretty busy. That's understandable. Mine does the same thing, which is why I'm starting late tonight. Like, I literally just logged off of work like 20 minutes ago, so... Starting late, plus my real life is keeping me busy on the weekdays, so I'm not able to stream as much. So that's probably why I haven't been able to see you that often. But I appreciate you dropping in nonetheless, my friend. I hope that you've been doing well, at least, even though work's busy. When I do voices, I create a voice inspired by their face. That way it's easier to recall. That's fair, which is why this guy is the only one I remember right now. I mean, granted, it's because his face just came up and it's the first thing I've seen. But I remember when I first saw him, that's what I heard in my head was the, yes, boss. But yeah, let me see if I can do it right. I'm proud to be the company's East End branch investigator and meter money collection agent. Altamont gas meters accept threepenny bits, each coin giving customers about 2 hours of gorgeous gas. And yet the meter in Mr. Shamspeare's room didn't have a single coin in it. The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though, and the collection agent has the only key. Somehow he's using all the flaming gas he wants without paying a penny. If that's not thieving, what is? Something like that. Oh, and Van Zeeks. I forgot about him. Evil-sounding British accent. I think I can do that one still. Pray forgive the discourtesy. The irrelevance of this testimony caused me to turn to my hallowed chalice. What do you mean by that remark, Lord Van Zeeks? Did the mustachioed Nipponese poison the gangling excuse for an actor, or didn't he? That is all that should concern this court. And yet now we must listen to this abhorrence. No, he keeps wasting wine. Clearly what separates the vast British Empire and your Eastern Island nation is more than geographical distance. But this could turn out to be crucial testimony. The cross-examination must go ahead. That one is new. Do what you will. Lord Van Zeeks appears to be in a violent mood. Yes, he does. Attempted poisoning and an incidence of gas theft with no supporting evidence. It's true that they would appear completely unrelated at first glance, but I wonder, the truth tends to be buried in the most unusual places. And the first step in uncovering it will be to establish just who and what this man really is. I think I remember his voice too, but we'll see. Cross-examination, the Altamont Gas Company's investigation. Alright, I'm not going to reread the green and voices. We did that once. But when I press them, yes, I will. I'm proud to be the company's East End branch investigator and meter money collection agent.
Hold it!
Ooh, get my controller off it there. We don't need that vibrating on my desk. So does that mean... Blah, 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 blah. So does that mean you enter people's houses in order to empty their gas meters? That I do. I have to try and catch people when they're in. Then I ask permission to come inside and do my business. Does that mean you've been into Mr. Natsume's room before, as well as that of Mr. Shamspear? Ah, well now, interesting you should bring that up, because I couldn't believe how little money was in his meter. I mean, how the pair of them survived the winter is beyond me, it really is. Knowing Mr. Natsume, he probably spends all his gas money on books. And then when he's finished reading them, he probably burns them for warmth. You will kindly reiterate your statement about the gas meters themselves, Mr. Meterman. Not much to say, really, but as you wish. Altamont gas meters accept threepenny bits. Each coin giving customers about 2 hours of gorgeous gas. Tell me more about that. So all London houses that have a gas supply are fitted with these gas meters, are they? They're the latest model, the height of technology, developed by our company, Altamont Gas. And anyone who uses our gas will have one of these meters in their property, yes. So if a 3p coin gives 2 hours of gas, most people would use about 3 coins in a night? A bit more than that, usually. If they have both gas lights and the gas stove, that is. Thinking about it, so Seki-san doesn't have a fireplace in that room of his, does he? Some people still choose to use candles, of course, and only have gas for heating. Ah, yes, I do remember seeing candles in Mr. Natsume's room, actually. And how does the money in the meter get back to you at the gas company? Every 3 days, gasmen like me visit properties on the gas supply and empty the meters of coins. I must say, the design and manufacture of the new meter cost the company an awful lot of money. But happily, it did put a stop to people not paying their dues, for the most part. Ah, because they have to pay in advance, you mean? Yes, exactly right. And yet the meter in Mr. Shamspear's room didn't have a single coin in it. Suspicious.
Hold it!
Out of interest, how long has this been going on? Weeks and weeks. He's been pinching us gas off us for ages. And you've examined the meter in Mr. Shamspear's room, I take it? Naturally. We took it off the wall and went over it with a fine-tooth comb. And found nothing suspicious at all, I presume? No, I'm afraid we didn't. Which is exactly why I demanded a new type of meter to be produced. One with an indestructible lock. The Shamspear Special. It sounds like it would have cost an awful lot of 3p pieces. But even after all that, the rascal's meter was still empty. I'll never forgive the humiliation. When I opened up the money box and found it bare, you what? I said, you what? And the look on his face, that smarmy smile of his. I pulled the meter straight off the wall and took it back to the office. But you know what? Nothing. Not a trace of it being jimmied open anywhere, not a single sign. And what's happening to my salary as a result? Down by 3 shillings a day, that's what. A life-threatening situation in a number of ways. Incidentally, what became of that meter? Nothing became of it. I still got it. Oh? Right here. No wonder they call you Meter Man. I think it would be prudent for the court to sequester this item while the trial is ongoing. The gas meter has been entered into the court record. A meter that dispenses gas for a set time after a coin is inserted. It sports a very strong lock, developed especially with Mr. Shamspear in mind. Definitely. Alright, well, time to examine shit. Let's look at that meter. Alright, let's look at the lock. It's a very sturdy looking padlock, isn't it? And the money box is sealed with beeswax, too. So if Mr. Sholmes were to get up to any mischief, he'd be found out immediately. Mr. Naruhodo, mischief of that kind is not the sort of thing that Mr. Sholmes would... You know you didn't finish that sentence, don't you? Well, anyway, it's understandable that the gas company would want to safeguard the money that's rightfully theirs. But it does feel a little over the top, perhaps, doesn't it? Alright, let's look around. Ooh, what do we have here? Oh, Have you spotted something, Mr. Naruhodo? Just here, there's a little hole. Do you see? Goodness, you're right. I wouldn't have noticed. It's not a very neat hole, is it? Not professionally made, I'd say. So, you think it might have been opened up by Mr. Shamspear? Possibly. It seems the people at Altamont Gas must have missed it. Well, it certainly seems to go all the way through to the inside. Yes, but there's no way a coin could fit through there. That's true, but even so, it seems more than a little suspicious. Alright, updated. What did it update? There's a tiny hole in its base. Okay. Is that everything on this thing? Holes for the gas, I assume. Nothing on the sides. Yeah, that seems to be it, I suppose. Alright. Back to court. Hey, Fern, how you doing, buddy? Welcome in. Good to see you. How's your day been? How's your week going so far? It's only Monday. I know we don't have a lot of time to count for so far, but I hope it started off well for you. I know mine was busy. I only just logged off work a short time ago. That's why my stream is a little late today, but we're playing some Ace Attorney. We're going to have some fun, solving murders, talking in weird voices, giving my vocal cords the exercise they so desperately need. But please, tell me how you've been, sir. Tell me how your day's going. Whew. Definitely. Although at first glance, there doesn't appear to be anything unusual about it. Let's move this along, shall we? Continue with your testimony. Though I would say it has as much value as the contents of that meter. Oof! Oh, I already said that. The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though, and the collection agent has the only key. Well, I can present it right there, but I'm going to press just to be safe. It was alright, I brought my dog home from the hospital. Oh, wow. Well, I'm sorry your dog had to go to the hospital, but I'm glad he's well enough to come home. What was wrong with him? If you don't mind sharing, obviously. If it's a tender subject, feel free to ignore me, but still, I'm glad that he's good enough to come home now. But yeah, pressing just to be safe. Of course you go live when I'm about to leave. I'm sorry, Mochi. I didn't mean to go just as you're about to leave, but work was late. I'm sorry. I would have started sooner, but it was a long day. It was a long Monday. It's not a Monday I enjoyed, but this is certainly making it better. But I'm sorry you have to go. But I appreciate that you dropped in at least to say hello. Well, technically you haven't said hello yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and pretend you did. Press! There's only one key for all of your meters? Well, in truth, there's another key in the company vault at our main office. But even if someone had somehow managed to get hold of a key, we'd know if the coin box had been opened. Oh? How? I came up with a rather clever way to expose any little shenanigans as it happens. That's okay, just messing? Yeah, I figured you were. You just like to be sassy sometimes. But are you actually leaving? Like, where are you going? Are you going to work? Are you going to a friend's? Are you going to go buy something? Buy a nice outfit? Or shoes? Or video games? Video games would be a good one. It's okay, she had a heat stroke. Oh, wow. Well, considering the weather this summer, that is to be expected, but I'm so sorry that she got heat stroke. That sucks. How long was she in the hospital for? Hello? Hi. Howdy. Konnichiwa. Employment agency stuff? Okay. Cool, cool. I'm assuming just forms you have to fill out or something? Or if they found something for you, that'd be cool too. Still, I hope whatever it is you're doing at the employment agency goes smoothly. I came to say hello. I know you did. I gotcha. Don't worry. I understand you. Right up. God, my head looks so big right now. Ugh. It's because my fucking headphones are holding all my hair back, so now I got this, like, billboard-looking forehead right now. Guys, I'm gonna put in a points reward, just your name here. Would you care to explain? Ah, well now. In order to empty a meter, you gotta unlock the padlock and remove the cover. When I close the cover again, I stick a little beeswax seal on it, you see? A seal? Like the sort of thing you'd put on an envelope, you mean? Something like that. Oh, something like that, yes. Basically, Bob... Wow, I cannot get his voice right at the start. I don't know why. It's very odd. It's right next to my bubble tea shop. Okay. Well, have fun. Enjoy your bubble tea that you get on your way home, I'm sure. But, yeah, I hope everything goes well, Mochi. A few hours, but she's fully recovered from it. Okay, good. Good. I'm glad it wasn't too bad then. Just damn. It's, you know, something crazy's going on with the weather when pets are getting heat stroke, man. And dogs have it the worst because they don't have any sweat glands, so they just gotta pant all the heat out. So, shit. I didn't mean to... Oh, whoops. Okay, no, I got you. Basically, you can't remove the cover again without breaking the seal.
Now, in the case of Mr. Shamspeare's meter, there were no coins inside at all, as I said.
But the seal hadn't been broken either. So that would mean Mr. Shamspeare somehow managed to steal coins from inside the meter without opening it?
It would seem so, but that would be impossible.
Somehow he's using all the flaming gas he wants without paying a penny. If that's not thieving, what is? I already know we should present on the other one, but we're going to press this one too, so. How do you know that he's been using gas, though? Well now, since I started investigating this bloke, I've been to his room more than a few times. And on every single occasion, his lamps have been blazing and his stove pounding. It's the middle of winter, and he still turns to me, sweat dripping down his cheeks, and says,
"Get thee to a nunnery!"
Hamlet, indeed. I could wring the bloke's neck. I got all hot under the collar, but still. Every time I open up that flaming meter, it's empty. He's robbing me of my salary, too. What's wrong with the world? Where's the justice? But how can Mr. Shamspeare possibly be stealing the money? I don't understand. The simple explanation is right before your eyes. What? A toast to you eventually realizing that the gas man could be an accomplice. You what? Good lord. Eminently plausible indeed.
Well, what do you have to say for yourself?
Oh, please, Lady Quinby, I'm a faithful worker. And besides, if the money as gas been collected doesn't tally with how much gas has been used, you dock our pay by the same amount. So you'd be stealing money only to have the same amount taken from your wages. Clearly that makes no sense.
Perhaps it's a case of losing the battle to win the war?
No, I'm not gonna stir up that hornet's nest. If I went stealing from the company, I'd be finished. It would seem there is no evidence to support the claims of thievery made against the victim, because Mr. William Shamspeare is innocent. Pray forgive me if that shatters some illusion my learned Nipponese friend was clearly under. Ugh. God hates me? Why would you think God hates you, Fern? You seem like a pretty cool dude. But other than that, it's been going well. Well, I'm glad that outside of the heat stroke, that everything else is going well for you, dude. Gonna work on some music, so I'll see you soon. Alright, dude, you go lay down some sweet tunes. I will be here if you need me. But, yeah, I'll see you soon too, buddy. Take care of yourself. That's if I don't get to talk to you again, but it's okay. We'll catch up later. I certainly didn't expect to uncover another crime that looks like it's been taking place in the very same room.
According to the testimony, it's only the meter in Mr. Shamspeare's room that's under suspicion. It does seem as though perhaps it has nothing to do with the incident involving Mr. Natsume.
I know, it does seem that way, but the fact is, since I've been practicing law in England, I feel like I've encountered this at least once already. Cases that are interlinked.
Oh.
It might seem that two cases have nothing to do with one another at first, but in fact they're intimately connected.
Yes, we have experienced that before, haven't we? I wonder if this is another instance.
Perhaps, we can't be sure of that yet. The Altamont Gas Company has been investigating Mr. Shamspears so earnestly. There must be something to it. But then how has he been managing to steal their gas? Alright. Nope. 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 Okay, this is where we're going to present the meter that we updated.
Objection!
Lady Altamont, I'm afraid to say that this meter clearly does show signs of having been tampered with.
What?
Ah, get away. I've been over and over that thing. I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with it. In that case, what do you have to say about the small hole that's been made at the base of the coin box? Hole? What?
You're right. You're quite right. There was a little hole there. The meters aren't supposed to have that. None of the others do.
In other words, we can assume that Mr. Shamspears secretly opened up this hole himself.
Yes, I wouldn't be at all surprised. But why?
Yeah, why? I mean, it's tiny. You couldn't get a farthing through that. I don't know what a farthing is. Lady Altamont, I wonder if you could give the court some more details about your meter design.
What sort of details?
Well, what I'd specifically like to know is... I want to know how it differentiates coins. Because, just in case anyone's wondering about my train of thought here, this is the crime scene photograph. There's a puddle of water right here, or something. So what if he's just slipping like little bits of ice in there that counts as a coin? That's what I want to know. Let's click the button. How does the meter tell the difference between different coins?
What do you mean?
Well, for example, if someone were to put in a 1-penny coin, that wouldn't work presumably, would it?
No, of course not.
So, well, how does the meter know that the coin it's been fed is a threepenny bit?
Ah, I see what you're getting at now. The meter tells coins apart by their shape and size, which includes their thickness. A threepenny bit is about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, you see. Other coins just won't fit.
Ah, I see. It's clearly been very well thought out. The witness will amend her formal testimony with that information in case it is pertinent.
As you wish, my lord. The meter is designed for coins the exact diameter and thickness of a threepenny bit. Nothing else will fit.
Hold it!
Okay, but conversely then, it would seem that anything matching a 3-pence coin exactly in terms of diameter and thickness could equally well be used. Would, that be true?
Well, yes, in a way. The weight comes the weight comes into it to a certain extent as well.
Wow, I did have it right. I just can't read. Ah, we thought of that though anyway. If I find any fake coins inside the coin box when I empty the meter, the contract says the customer has to pay 100 times the amount they diddled as a fine. We live for our moments like that, as gasmen do. Live for them. It would seem the gas company has thought of everything. Wahoo! Hurrah for gas! Hurrah for cash! Altamont on away!
That's quite enough of that.
Remind me, how big are threepenny bits?
About 3/4 of an inch across. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Is this 2 centimeters measurement significant? Or perhaps there's some other aspect of the meter's construction that we should be focusing on?
Yes, you may be right. Perhaps I should try a different tack here. Like asking about whether the meter can be dismantled, for example. Alright, let's delve fucking deeper. Because I don't have anything in the court record. Oh my god. Is it soap? The answer fucking soap. The answer fucking soap. Oh, look at this bar of soap. There's a circular depression on this side, about 2 centimeters across.
Or 3/4 of an inch. Ah, do you think?
We did find the soap at the scene, didn't we?
Yes, there were 2 bars on that little ledge just outside the window, so we took this one. But I'm sure that when we first found it, there was some sort of reddish medallion in the middle there. I remember it clearly.
Yes, but there's no sign of it now. Where could it have gone? A cheap bar of soap that was discovered just there's a 2 centimeter diameter circular depression in the middle of one surface. It definitely had something red on it, but now it's fucking gone. No, we're not delving deeper. We're gonna leave this real quick. Let us return to the testimony.
Of course, my lord. As I was saying, Ultimate meters are unsurpassed. They can't be manipulated.
Yep. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Skip. Yep. Give me a sec. We're gonna try the soap. No. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna save, because again, if you've seen me play this game before, I am a biggity bitch, so I'm just gonna go ahead and save, because if I lose, I want to come back to this spot immediately, and not have to redo all of this. But I definitely want to present the soap. No, I don't want to examine it. I want to present it.
Objection.
Ah, there we go. Let me just confirm something here. If the diameter and thickness were to be correct, the meter would accept any object as if it were a threepenny bit. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, by something of a coincidence, while we were investigating in Mr. Shamspeare's room, we found a particular item that matches the dimensions perfectly.
Something the same size as a threepenny bit? What was it?
God, I can't go that high. Oh my god, that one actually hurt my throat. The item in question is this. Wow. What have you been inhaling, gas? That's a bar of soap.
Certainly looks nothing like a threepenny bit, I must say.
Looks like I'm going to have to point out exactly what I mean here. What's so important about the soap is this part here. And then we're going to just flip it over real quick right here.
Got it.
You have to turn over the soap to see what I mean.
Ah! Are you referring to that round depression in the middle of the soap there?
That's right, a depression that's approximately 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Or in other words, almost exactly the same size as a threepenny bit. Ah, get away! Does anyone here present have in their possession a threepenny bit? Quickly now, hand over your coins, ladies and gentlemen.
It sounds rather like a highway robbery, doesn't it?
Thanks to a kind member of the public in the gallery, I have here a threepenny bit. Now, to see if it fits. My word, it couldn't be more snug. Yes, as I suspected. This, without a doubt, is a vital clue to explain how the Altamont Gas Company is being defrauded.
Well, I don't believe it!
So, your assertion amounts to what? That some inferior bar of soap has a tentative connection to the theft of gas? Yes. The depression in the soap was clearly made by a threepenny bit. I must concur, at least, that pushing a coin with some force into a poor quality bar of soap such as this is a remarkably simple way of replicating the coin's shape. And then you could use, well, some melted wax or something to pour into the mold. You could make fake coins in no time. This brings all the pieces of the puzzle together. It's the method Mr. Shamsphere has been using to steal the gas. That's the missing link. And now, if I follow the chain of thought, it's going to bring me to a new explanation for what happened that nobody's considered yet.
But this is all nonsense! If the man had been making fake coins, my worker here would have found them when he emptied the meter!
Quite true, Lady Altamont. In the absence of some black magic that could make them disappear. I see. That's what we're dealing with, is it? There is one form of black magic that could cause the fake coins to disappear into thin air, yes. Exactly. And the meter here gives it away.
What on earth?
There are remnants of the magical method used visible on the gas meter taken from the victim's room. If that is your assertion, Counsel, the defense will identify these remnants for the court at once. Where on the meter can the remnants of the method used to make the fake coins disappear be seen? I assume we're just looking at the hole, right? Oh, I hit examine again, didn't I? Fuck. Whatever. There's this little hole in the bottom of the meter here, isn't there? And it looks as though it was made by somebody who didn't really have the right tools.
It does actually go all the way through to the inside, though it's hard to see that unless you look closely. In fact, it goes right into the part of the meter where the money ends up.
I suppose it's nothing then.
Oh?
Well, you couldn't possibly extract a coin through such a small hole, could you?
No, I suppose not.
But then the question remains, why would somebody go to the effort of making a hole here? It's the thing, it's the answer. We found this bar of soap at the scene of the crime, just outside the victim's window. Outside? Yes, outside, where you yourself, Mr. Meterman, were loitering in the freezing winter air. That's where we found this soap. I get it! That's right. The answer, of course, is ice. Did you just say ice? Mr. Shamsphere has been leaving soaps like this outside his window each evening, filled with water. After a night outside in the bitter cold, the water is completely frozen solid the next morning. Then he takes his fake coins of ice and feeds them into the gas meter, giving him light and warmth in spades. As his room becomes very comfortably warm, the ice now inside the meter's coin box melts, turning back into water, and draining harmlessly away through the small hole made in the underside of the meter. That is how, without leaving any evidence of his wrongdoing, this man has been stealing Altamont gas.
Just like that, so simply. Is he trying to make us look like idiots? He's been fooling us all with some bars of soap and some water?
You're fucking pissed, but I don't have a go-to angry food. Well, first off, what's wrong? I hope it's nothing serious. I hope you're okay. As for angry food, if you're going to your employee thing, you could get bubble tea. That usually is a happy food for you, if I recall correctly. That's right, madam.
I don't believe it. It can't be true. Do you have any idea how much money we spent to develop that new meter? And now you have the audacity to suggest that a bit of soap and some water can render it totally useless?
I'm fairly sure I didn't design it.
Evidence!
Sorry?
I want evidence! If you're going to stand there and tell me our meters are rubbish, I want to see proof! She's very good at enforcing accountability, isn't she?
He's closed? Oh, man. Like, for the day, or, like, for good? Because if it's just for the day, that's unfortunate. But hopefully you can get some, like, the next day, maybe? Or... But if he's closed for good, that would be really unfortunate. Very well, Lady Altamont. If you'd like evidence, I'll provide it.
What? Mr. Naruhodo, are you saying you do actually have evidence to support this theory?
I did notice a trace of something that bothered me a little at the time. And I have a feeling that this theory we've come up with now could explain it. The piece of evidence that substantiates the theory about how Mr. Shamsphere has been stealing gas is, I am confident, I don't even need to save. Fuck this, I got this. It's the photo. I'm pissed because they made me come in for my appointment even though my fucking consultant isn't in. Really? They didn't give you like a heads up like, hey, the dude you're supposed to meet isn't here. Let's reschedule? That's fucked up. Oh my god. Are they going to make you reschedule now, or like... Nope, not at all. No warnings. That's stupid. That's irritating. That's just an example of how bureaucracy just kind of screws regular people over sometimes. 2 weeks? Oh my god. I'm sorry, Mochi. That sucks. Here, you can have this command. Maybe that'll make you feel a little better. A little better. Wow, I can't even talk. Whoops! No! Oh, fuck. What'd he say? This is a photograph of the scene at the point when the victim was discovered, taken by Inspector Gregson. Okay. And it clearly shows the remnants of the crime carried out by Mr. Shamspear. What remnants? Here you can see the gas meter on the wall in Mr. Shamspear's room. Now, look closely at the floorboards directly underneath the meter.
What is that? Some kind of grubby stain?
Almost certainly, it's a water stain resulting from the liquid that drained out of the hole made in the meter.
Ah,
If one coin gives around 2 hours of gas usage, and the occupant was heating his room in all his waking hours, we can imagine he would have used around 10 of his fake coins each day. The melting ice inside the meter's coin box would have been dripping out almost constantly, leaving a stain on the floor.
this is awful.
And there's further evidence, too. Mr. Shamspear slumped over his table, apparently having consumed strychnine. And right there next to him is a bar of soap broken in half.
You're right.
It would appear to me then, Counsel, that the man was eating the soap, was he? Pardon me for disagreeing with your lordship, but... certainly not. Thank you. Get a bucket and a mop. Yeah, you'd think, what's-his-face would have tried to cover that one up. Just, like, put it underneath, you know? What a frickin' genius. He was smart enough to make ice coins to steal gas, but not smart enough to hide the water. Put it in a fucking cup or something. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Shamspear is not the brightest bulb, I guess. Slightly bright, but not the brightest.
He didn't beat about the bush there, did he?
In truth, Mr. Shamspear was found with a fork in his hand. A meal of soap is sounding increasingly likely, Lord Van Zeeks. You mean to say he was using that fork to... Yes. To extract a frozen coin from the bar of soap.
Ah! But the bar broke in half. So perhaps it didn't go very well.
Good gracious. Lord Van Zeeks. I was throwing my hand up in despair, and happened to catch my hallowed bottle on the way. Pray forgive my maladroit mistake. What is the meaning of all this, Counsel? Allow me to pose my learned friend a question. What exactly did you establish with your most recent cross-examination? Well...
That Mr. William Shamspear is a liar and a thief. In other words, that his testimony is unreliable.
That's it. That's exactly it. What she said. Very well, let us assume the man is a liar. Now allow me to pose another question. What possible difference does that make? Well... Sorry. The last 3 times I've gone to get tea, he's been closed. He has reduced hours because he's sick. Oh, well that's unfortunate. I hope he gets better soon. For his sake and yours. But, still, that's a bummer. I'm sorry. There's gotta be something else you can pick up for angry food, right? My angry food is, well... I don't usually have angry food. I just have angry drinks. And this is just because... my day at work was long. Let's say that. Well... We know that suicide can be discounted. Scotland Yard's investigation revealed no sign of another vessel that contained poison. And on the night in question, there were no visitors to the room except the accused. The young gasman's testimony, which we have no reason to doubt, has confirmed that. Furthermore, the only possible way the poison could have entered the victim's body is via the tea. The court has seen no evidence whatsoever that suggests otherwise. Even if William Shakespeare is the liar you claim him to be, these facts have been objectively established. There's no escaping it. Therefore, in light of these facts, the prosecution calls for immediate adjudication. You... What?
Order! Order! Well, counsel, how does the defense respond?
Mr. Naruhodo!
What was the point of that last cross-examination? Did it actually get us anywhere? Or did it make no difference at all, like Lord Van Zeeks is saying? This is one of those weird moments where I feel like it's tricking us. I don't know. I hate it when the game does that. I'm just gonna save it because I'm a save game bitch. Okay, I'm going through it in my head. He was found slouched over the table, teacup in his hand, fork in his other, and a half-bar of soap on a plate that he was trying to get the ice coin out of with his fork. Mr. Natsume's teacup didn't have the ring on it because he drank it quickly while it was hot, which means he was worried about it getting cold. But the room was already hot because he'd been stealing the gas, right? So even if Shakespeare left his tea to cool down, it wouldn't have gotten cooler if he was just keeping the room warm, right? Or am I reaching too far with that? Whatever. Let's raise an objection. No, this isn't over. The defense will not rest. What?
Well, counsel, you've successfully explained everything. You've identified and substantiated the unscrupulous method employed by Mr. Shakespeare to consume gas. What more is there to discuss?
Lord Van Zeeks just highlighted 3 facts in order to make his point, but contrary to what he would have the court believe, not all of them have been objectively established at all. What are you trying to say, my Nipponese friend? At least one of those so-called facts is an assumption, made due to a lack of evidence. But the situation has changed now, following the cross-examination of the latest witnesses to take the stand. Don't be absurd. What is this nonsense? Yes, when you bring everything we've learned so far together and consider it as a whole, it's clear. There's a question that we now need to reconsider. Namely, it's the poison. Because he says they have no evidence of it. It's just because the teacups are there that it must be the only way. But it couldn't have been in the tea. Because, like I said, if the whole room was warm, he wouldn't have let his tea sit so long. I have no idea. I'm grasping at straws here, but that's what I'm thinking. Time to save. Time to save just in case, because... Sorry, you guys are going to have to see this save screen a lot, but... We've all been led to believe that the strychnine poison that afflicted Mr. Shakespeare was in the tea brought to him by Mr. Natsume. But that's conjecture at best.
Objection!
The victim has testified that nothing else passed his lips that night. There is no other possibility. And since there was no trace of the tea left at the scene, it couldn't be tested for traces of the poison.
Objection.
As I said, the situation has changed. Because in fact, some of Mr. Natsume's tea was left at the scene. And a particular piece of evidence proves it.
Objection!
A ludicrous claim. Scotland Yard detectives investigated the scene exhaustively. What evidence are you suggesting they missed?
The defense has made a bold claim indeed. Very well, counsel. Present your proof. What evidence from the scene of the crime can tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea?
I'm gonna assume the teacup with the ring in it. Again, straws, just grasping at them, I think. But that's kind of how these games work, you know? Still saving anyway, because I am not confident, but...
Take that!
What exactly is this piece of evidence supposed to reveal about Mr. Natsume's tea, counsel?
Oh, did I get it wrong? Well, I suspect it may possibly be related to the tea in some small way if we dig deep enough. Then you'll be digging for a very long time indeed, my learned friend. Oh. Even at the bottom of the deepest chasm, you will find no sense in that absurd assertion. Uwaga! God damn it. Ugh, sometimes I wish I could disappear down a deep chasm to escape his deep sarcasm.
Then I advise you to think more deeply before you answer again this time.
Papa. Nope. Is it this thing? Is it the tea kettle? I forgot if Natsume said he brought like a whole kettle down. I assume he did. I might have to present that, because this is just the medical report. And I'm going to present the photograph, I guess, because I am not sure. Unless the liquid was the tea that time, but it was not. I'm gonna do this. Ah, it's okay, I saved earlier. Nope, I fucked up. Yep. There goes the second one. Damn it! What am I missing? Is there anything on this? Oh, just okay. Nope. No, these have been examined. Nothing new about these cups. Damn it. Hey, that guy, how you doing? Welcome in. How's your night going? Redeemed Make Me a Clown. Alright, give me a sec. Oof. Let's see if I can get this to stay on my head this time. Because on top of the fucking headphones is difficult sometimes. I'm just gonna end up breaking them at this point. But I am a clown, so that would fit. Tiring, depressing. I'm so sorry. Taught a bunch of newbies how to play Sea of Thieves the last 2 nights. Is it that exhausting? God damn. I'm sorry you're tired and depressed, though, sir. Hopefully you can come in here and be less depressed, although I am getting my ass handed to me by a puzzle that I feel like I am missing something obvious on. Nah, teaching wasn't that tiring? Okay. Tired and depressed over other stuff. Well, I'm so sorry that life's difficult for you right now, sir. That's besides the point. What was the teaching newbies part? That's fair. What evidence from the scene of the crime can tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea? Oh, the nature of the defendant's tea? Is it the gas meter? I don't know right now.
Take that!
Nope. I am getting this wrong left and right. The reason part. Got it. To be honest, teaching newbies went pretty well. One went kind of more chaotic than I expected. In a good way or a bad way? I assume a bad way, because usually chaos is associated with bad things, but... Is it the soap? Usually it's 200 receipt of 445. Oh yeah. We got 4 skeleton ships attacking, a black megalodon and a kraken, all back to back. Jesus, I didn't even know the Meg was in there. I mean, I knew the kraken was. I hadn't seen it though personally, but that still looks like a crazy ass fight. But geez, all of that shit back to back, that is nuts. Did you guys die a lot, or did you take them all down? I'm hoping you took them all down, because you seem like a boss, my friend. Well, cheers to you. Megs and Krakens are random. I figured they were, but I only ever heard of Krakens. We took them all down, but it wasn't without some mental toes. Is that... Oh. I'm sorry it took a toll on you, buddy. I can only imagine how difficult those fights are, but if you stayed afloat, more power to you, man. People should not fuck with you. Crime can tell us the nature of the defendant's tea. I have no idea. This is... Oh, man. Well, it's 1 Black Meg and Kraken down. 99 to go. God, I hate how grindy this new achievement system is. Wow. Did they implement an achievement where you gotta kill 100 Krakens and 100 Megalodons? Because that does sound super fucking grindy. I am not a fan of that shit. They revamped it? Doesn't sound like they revamped it in a good way at this rate. But that's just what I'm hearing. I'm not judging it based on actual experience. Fuck it. The report. Nope. Alright, nope. G. Let's just load. I feel like it's gonna be something stupid. Like a real stretch. Like, I love Ace Attorney games, but sometimes they have stretches that are just ridiculous. Tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea. Maybe the envelope? Because if he had time to tear it, he had time to hide the rest of it? I have no idea. We already did the bar of soap. That was for the machine. Sure, the envelope. Nope. Nah, I'm not gonna read all this. Let's just load it again. I already killed 200 plus megalons, but but before the revamp, so it doesn't... Oh my god. So all of that work just kind of gone. That sucks, I'm sorry. I can see why you're not the biggest fan of this. Like, I can get killing 100 megs if you're just in the course of playing the game for a long time because you really love it, like you do. But to implement an achievement system and then not count any of that previous stuff just seems unfair. Like, even World of Warcraft retroactively, when they put in their achievement system way back when, like, they had retroactive achievements so that, like, you know, if you killed a certain amount of things or did certain things, you still got it without having to repeat it. At least that's how I remember it. What have I presented already? Have I presented everything?
Take that!
I'm just kind of throwing shit out there. The most upsetting part is that the new achievement system gives so many cool rewards. To be expected from a... Ooh, hello. Hey, Spooker, how you doing? Thanks for dropping in. How's your evening going? And thank you for the resubscribe for 17 months. God damn. You are definitely earning that Founder's Badge, that's for sure. But thank you. Come on in. Tell me what's up. How was DRC finishing Stray? I was watching a little of that before I came to do this. And now I'm a clown because I can't get this right. Honestly, I don't mind having to do the new alignment system, but the new achievement system is such a good... What's the alignment system? Is it like good and bad alignments? Kind of like BioWare games or something? And I can't get this. I need help from an expert, Spooker. I don't know what evidence to present at this point. Not exactly good or bad. And there's DRC. Thank you so much for the raid, sir. How you doing? Let me just give you a quick shout out for the raid. Shout out Dr. Console. That's a DO. Whoops. SO. DRC. That's better. I'm good, homie. I'm tired. Well, let's see, you were last playing Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. You were busy. You were busy trying to save the world and being very dramatic about it, like The Walking Dead, so you've earned some rest. But welcome in. Thank you so much for dropping by. I really appreciate it, dude. If you need to just raid and bounce, you're more than welcome to if you're tired, but you're more than welcome to stay and hang out too if you want. No problem. Died a lot, though. Is Saints and Sinners the one where you play as Daryl? Like, you have to fight through a bunch of zombies in, like, a Daryl-only story, and it's... I can't remember if that was the one that was, like, VR as well, but I'm not sure. No, that one sucked major dickus. That's the bad one. Yeah, so I've heard. But it was VR? Okay. Well, I got one part right, I guess. That's more than I can say for how well I'm doing in this game. It's Goldseeker, the Emissary, the Voyager, the Hunter, the Feared, the Rogue, the Ill-Fated, and the Captain. Oh, so you can align with, like, a bunch of different groups if you want to. Kind of like a reputation thing, I guess. Right? Those are the alignments. Like, do you go up with all of them equally? Like, can you align with all of them, or do you have to pick one? And how was this one? Did you like it at least? Saints and Sinners? I haven't played a Walking Dead game since the Telltale one, Season 2. I finished that one and I haven't really picked them up since then. But I need help. Spooker. Or I can just press everything and keep reloading until I get it right. You think it'd be the fucking tea kettle over there, but I don't know. I guess they probably checked that one. Saints and Sinners is amazing. Okay. I'll have to check out a bit of your VOD then, so I can get a feel for it, because Yeah, it's been a long fucking time since I've touched Walking Dead or even watched the show. Like, as soon as Negan showed up, I was just kind of like... Like, I like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, but by that time the show was kind of like... Hey, DJ Pablo, first time chat. Thank you so much for coming by. How you doing, bud? Waving right back. You having a good day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are? I hope you're having a good one. Tell me all about it. I hope your week's been going good so far. I know we're only on Monday, at least in my time zone, but maybe you're on a Tuesday. You could be a whole day ahead of me. I'm not sure what to present here, though. Is it soap? Maybe it is soap. Maybe it is soap. Because if he was digging the ice coin out, his room must have been cold. But then the tea... I don't fucking know what's going on. Sir, the soap. Why not the fucking soap? It's the fucking soap! God damn it. Alignment points go up depending on what you do. You don't need to pick just one. Oh, okay. So it's like a reputation system. Like, you're just kind of earning points with all these different factions. That's pretty cool. That's a cool new mechanic they threw in. Good evening. Watching DRC and lurking. Well, welcome in, Pablo. I'm a lot like DRC in that I'll just play whatever the hell I want, when I want. So you're welcome to come hang out. It's a nice chill place. But yeah. Are you also from that area too? I don't want to dox anyone, so I'm not going to name cities, but if you're a real-life friend of DRC's, that's awesome as well. I like this alignment system. It's fun and not as grindy, but the new achievement system is grindy as fuck. Yeah, it certainly sounds like it. I wish I could help you out with that, though. Anyway.
Good gracious. The soap again. The same bar the victim used to fashion his coins of ice?
Yes, that's right, my lord. Oh, it's just come back to me. Wow, I could not read that. Something about when we first found this bar of soap at the scene yesterday. It's more bars of soap. Soap? What are bars of soap doing lined up on a ledge outside the window? Right, the inside was fucking red. I'm quite certain that when we originally stumbled upon the bars of soap, there was actually a frozen coin in each bar. So you discovered the gas thief's coin factory. Fascinating. In a way, yes, but there's more. The coins we found in the soap at the time weren't normal ice.
There was something strange about them, you mean?
Exactly. Something very obviously strange. They were red. The ice was red? No. You mean... That's right. It's obvious to me now. The fake coins in the soap were made from frozen tea. Okay, they were both saying that at the same time. I didn't know which voice to do for that one. I apologize. I would remind the court of a statement made by Mr. Natsume earlier in this trial. That evening, yes, I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Shamspeare's room, as a gift. The public water pump outside always freezes at night, so I bought a bottled water, especially to make it. And this is the result. Never will I touch tea again, never.
Ah, yes, I believe there had been a snowfall that day. It was particularly cold. Sadly, on such occasions, the poorly constructed water mains in the East End are prone to freezing.
So on the night in question, Mr. Shamspeare, having no running water to use, was forced to use the tea brought by Mr. Natsume in order to make his fake coins.
My word!
That hand slap, it's classic. It's a classic fucking hand slap. Just, there were 2 bars of soap on the window ledge when my judicial assistant and I investigated the scene.
That's right, and we only borrowed one of them.
Which means that even as we speak, some of the defendant's tea is still present at the scene of the crime. Frozen solid in a bar of soap outside Mr. Shamspeare's window.
Extraordinary!
Earlier today, Inspector Gregson informed the court that if even 1 drop of the tea remained, Scotland Yard would be able to analyze it for poison. As such, we are now in a position to prove or disprove what has until now been mere conjecture. By finding out for sure whether or not Mr. Natsume's tea actually contains strychnine at all. Ah! You smug Nipponese. My lord, we cannot do the defendant the injustice of passing judgment now. The police should be dispatched to recover the remaining bar of soap from the scene at once. And the defense requests a thorough analysis of the frozen tea embedded in it, to determine whether or not it contains any poison.
Bailiff, instruct the police to attend the scene at once.
Yes, my lord, understood. I don't know what the hell. There's so many bailiffs. I may as well just throw out any voice for them. Currently, I'm aiming for the feared alignment. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the game's called Sea of Thieves. It's a game about pirates. You would ideally want to be called the feared, I assume.
It would seem we have no choice but to suspend these proceedings for the time being. I trust you have no objection, Lord Van Zieks.
None, my lord.
Scotland Yard will recover the tea from the scene and
Okay. More friends. Thank you guys for coming in. Hate Crew, welcome in, dude. How are you tonight? How is your day going? How is everything with you, sir? True leader of the turtles right here. Thank you, Casual. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Let me give Hate a quick shout out. There we go. So welcome, guys. What's going on? You know, just solving murders by blindly throwing everything I have at a dartboard and seeing what sticks. But welcome, guys. You were last seen playing Apex Legends. How'd it go? Hate, how did it go? Played some Apex. Gonna be building my PC tomorrow. Thanks for the shout out. You're welcome, sir. Gonna be building your PC tomorrow. Damn, are you building that on stream? Because that would be kind of a cool thing to stream. And that hat is amazing. Yep. I am a clown today. At least, you know, because that guy wanted to redeem it. But yeah. Kick-ass jester hat. Woo woo. Anyway. Did you win any games? I'm hoping you know, took the title of Apex Predator, sir, because you are awesome. You deserve it. And you are building it on stream. Very cool. Very cool. Hopefully, I'll be able to stop by and check it out a bit. Do you know what time you're building it? Like, is it earlier in the day, later in the day? I have plans in the evening, but hopefully I'll be able to at least drop by and say hi. I didn't win, but I was hitting my shots, felt good about it. Nice. Nice. This team was Apex Prey. Oof. I am sorry, dude. If you gotta be Apex something, Prey is not one of them. The randoms were rough. Nice, okay. Well, I am sorry your teams weren't on par. That does suck. Definitely been there. I haven't played Apex Legends, but I have played other Battle Royale games, and I know how getting teamed up with, like, terrible randos is just frustrating as all hell. So, I get it. Sorry, bud. But, yes, in 12 hours, you're going to start building a new computer. That should make everything better, I'm sure. I'm hoping in like 12 hours. 12 hours from now? Damn, that's early in the morning. Okay. Well, I'll try to make it, buddy. But if not, I hope that the build goes smoothly and that you get to show off your power in one of your future streams. But again, thank you for the raid. I really appreciate that. I have a question. This is for anyone in chat if you're still listening. If you're not, it's cool. It doesn't matter.
Allegory.
Damn it, Allegory.
Damn it, Allegory.
Damn it, Allegory. Damn it, Allegory.
Damn it, Allegory.
God damn it, Allegory.
Damn it, Allegory.
God damn it, Allegory.
Pablo, thank you so much for the follow. Sorry, every time the follow alert comes up, I have to stop talking because I just love it every fucking time. It's so good. Are you confused by it? It's hilarious. I agree. It's fucking amazing. And that first voice on it, yeah, that's Dr. Console. So, yeah, I love it. I don't think I'm gonna change it ever. Spooker, I still love yours just because I think it's the most genuine because we kept making you do it over and over. So, one of my favorite parts of it was just kind of getting on your nerves, but it was funny. I like it. But anyway, back to hate. You imagine it'll take most of the day? I would imagine so, yeah. So, I'll definitely be able to stop by during lunch or something. We got so close to getting the right pitch, but I didn't want to push you anymore, so you sounded legitimately frustrated with me, which was kind of funny. But thank you, Pablo. Thank you for thinking it's hilarious. Anyway, I have a question to anyone that is still listening. I am doing a 37-hour no-sleep marathon the first week of September. 37 minimum. If I go over 37, great for me, but chances are as soon as I hit 37, I'm going to pass out. But normally I just do Resident Evil games, so like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I might do 5 because I have Maro who wants to play with me. 7, 8, maybe Code Veronica. I don't know. Bunch of Resident Evil games. But I don't know if I should I don't know if anyone thinks I should mix it up or something. Like, maybe do Dark Souls games instead. Like a marathon of those. Or maybe Silent Hill, because I haven't touched those since a certain someone made me play them. I'm just throwing ideas out there. Doing the 24-hour gaming marathon for Extra Life taught me to take a break every 4 hours. Fair enough. I agree. It is important to take breaks when you need to, because streaming for 37 hours straight definitely can't be healthy for you. But it is fun, actually. I mean, it is exhausting, but fun. You can't go wrong with any of those. Some of my favorite games. They are ones that I'm definitely interested in. The Silent Hill ones, I haven't touched them in a long time, so I'd have to... That would probably take the longest. But I can go through the Resident Evils like the back of my hand, so... I'm not sure if I could fit 37 hours into it, though. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to gauge what people would be interested in seeing, so... And each section could be a different game. That's true, Pablo. That's true. Each section could be a different game. As long as they fit the theme of, like, dark and a little horror, maybe. Maybe we can do a mix of Resident Evil and Silent Hill. I don't know. I call it the No Rest for the Wicked marathon, which means it should be evil-based. Maybe throw an evil within as well. I don't know. I'll help you win, and if I can. If I do Silent Hill, I would expect you to help me, because I don't remember how to beat those games. Well, if you do anything longer than 14 hours, I'm going to swing through. Hard to miss that monster of a window. You're going to have plenty of chances, because 14, and then you double that's 28, and then you add 9 more hours to that. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. You got plenty of time, casual, to drop by, but if you know, whenever you do, I'm sure I'll appreciate it. Unless I'm passing out. Or unless you make me do a hot sauce thing again. Because I fucking... Oh my god. That hot sauce destroyed me. That'd be a good theme. I like it. I'm a big fan of spooky, scary games. Outlast? Okay. I make an exception to some games. Outlast, I'm not the biggest fan of just because of the whole, like, having to hide element. It just gets annoying. Damn math stream. Oh, I know. Basic math. 14 plus 14 plus 9. It's tough. Oh, I would never do anything so cruel. So cruel as what? Oh, hot sauce? Oh, man. It's I don't know if you guys have seen the Hot Ones challenge. Like, you know, Hot Ones on the series on YouTube. But my roommate has a bottle of Da Bomb. So usually when I do these streams, just to, you know, in case people want to see me suffer additionally, they can, like, gift some subs or something. And I will do a dab of Da Bomb and just destroy my mouth. Because I hate myself. So, Can't fight back. I hate those two. It's not so much like the not fighting back part. Like, I played Mortuary Assistant on Friday, and I loved it. It was really good for a game that was made by, like, one dude. But, there was no hiding element. Like, there was still, like, kind of a fight back in the sense that you had to solve the mystery and choose correctly. But, like, the hiding aspect of it's like... It's like playing a stealth character in Skyrim. Like, no one in their right mind does it, because it turns a possibly 100 to 150 hour game into a 300 hour game. Why? Why would you do that? I don't know, it's like... especially if the AI is uncooperative, like, it'll keep you in the same place, because you can't fight them, you have to just hide. But if you can't go forward, you have to hide back where you were. And then, I'm ranting, I'm going to stop ranting, I'm going to go ahead and go back to chat. Oh, you're talking about Hot Ones? We did it, DRC and I did the whole challenge. 8 and 10 were the worst ones, the last one made DRC puke. God damn. That is rough. I also did it, and I still hate spicy stuff, but everyone else was doing it, and I wanted to be cool, so... It's not a good reason to hurt yourself, but it's the reason. It's the reason I did. But hopefully DRC survives. Maybe when I come visit someday, we can all do it again together. DRC hates spicy too? Well, look, we're in the same boat then. I always do stealth. Well, depending on the game, stealth can be good and bad. Like, Evil Within 2 objectively had decent stealth because the mechanics kind of revolved around it. Like, there was always stuff you can spec into with Evil Within 2 where it was like, stealth kills are faster. You can sprint up to someone while still in stealth. You can stealth around corners. Like, it kind of, like, gameplayed into it, as opposed to just Outlast or Amnesia, where it's all just, oops, the bad guy's right there. You have no choice but to go back and hide. Like, ugh. It's frustrating, you know? But there you go. There's more rant for you. Gotta do what the cool folks do. It's my favorite excuse. Like, Allegory, why would you do that? Well, everyone else was doing it, and I wanted to be cool. And just to clarify that I didn't make that up, that's a Futurama joke. They were in the Slurm factory, and Fry fell into the Slurm, and Leela had to jump in to save him, and then they both come up for air, and then they just find Bender floating in there with them, and they're, Bender, why did you jump in? It's like, I don't know, everyone else was doing it, and I wanted to be cool. Like, fucking... One of my favorite lines from Futurama, but that's another story. He's half Mexican, half Creole, can't handle spicy. Really? Oof. Well, I thought I was bad. I'm a quarter Mexican, and I still can't handle spicy, but that's even worse. But you know what? No hate, because I like to taste my food. I like flavor. Spicy ain't a flavor. Putting fire in your mouth ain't flavor. But the more mild ones sometimes do have a nice flavor. I will give it that. Like, Da Bomb? There is no flavor in that. That is just designed to hurt yourself. I'm losing my hat. You missed a message from me? I did? Sorry, PvP that guy. One sec. Oh, I mean Captain Jonathan Jones, the legendary thief, captain of the feared Howling Winds. That does have a nice ring to it. It's kind of a mouthful, but it does sound pretty cool, I will admit, especially for a pirate. How long until you get those titles? Like, if you grind at a normal rate, I guess. That's why I didn't keep playing Remothered. Yeah, I noticed that too. It was very, like, you backtrack to a hiding spot if the AI isn't cooperating with you, so, like, why? But, again, Resident Evil's not like that. Silent Hill, Evil Within, fucking Mortuary Assistant, any other, like, spooky games, I'm down. I'll play them. Maybe I should, like, keep a poll open, see what people want to pick next. I don't know. I don't like pain with my food. Same here, hey, same here. Like, why would I want to set my mouth on fire and be crying tears when I just want to have a piece of chicken? Could be just Captain Jack Jones. Jack Jones is a cool pirate name, I'll admit. I need to get rank 50 of Feared. My pirate's name is Jonathan Jack Jones. That is cool. I like that. Jonathan Jack Jones. That's a lot of J's. Now if I name my pirate, I'm gonna have to name him J. Jonah Jameson. Oh, that guy's great too. Life is pain. You know, Casual? As much as I agree with that, no, that's it. That's where that thought ends. I agree. Life is pain. It's funny because I have a friend, Jay. He says the most random shit sometimes. And I forgot what the hell he was drinking that night, but we were talking about that kind of topic, and just he blurted out without a thought in his head, just like, life is shit and we're the toilet paper. And we just kind of looked at him and we were just like, that might be one of the smartest things you've ever said. Life is shit and we're the toilet paper. Fucking love that guy. He's hilarious. We did the challenge on a friend stream. Nice. So it was like a group stream thing. That's really cool. That's a great way to do it too, because it is quite the spectacle watching people just hurt themselves with lots of hot sauce. Yes, it was a Spider-Man reference. Gotta love, I forgot the guy that plays him, but he's fucking brilliant. He was great. He's great in like fucking everything he does. J. Jameson, Captain Jones's apprentice. That would be a good title. It's just us chugging milk and eating peanut butter cups trying to stop the pain. That's probably better than what I did. I watched the Hot Ones episode with Alton Brown, and, you know, he's very, like, scientific about his food, so instead of having milk, he had, like, cream, half and half. And admittedly, it does kill the heat a lot faster, but it doesn't, like, kill it. It just kind of, while it's in your mouth, dulls it. And then as soon as you swallow, it goes right back, so. But, yeah, I would probably do cream again. Food is life, life is pain, ergo food is pain. I would just say food is pain without the life part, because sometimes my fat ass eats way too much and I just feel my stomach going like, bleh, which is not a good thing to feel, I'm sure. Damn, that's deep. Life is shit and we're the toilet paper? Absolutely. I just remember screaming, my teeth are hot. Who does that? That is funny. I need to see that. You're gonna have to send me a link to that. Jay might spell out something deeper if we feed him some Ferryman grog. Oh man, he has a... We keep a whole, like, PDF file on all the stuff he says. Like, we were talking something about, like, accidentally knocking a girl up, and he's like, well, if you plant the seed, you must raise the tree, and we're like, you don't have a filter, do you? But it's gold. Or don't judge a burrito by its tortilla. Like, yeah, that's going on the list. That's going on the list. Absolutely. I love that guy. Yeah, that's the issue we had with the milk. Makes sense. I mean, the milk has the fat content for it to just numb it, but as soon as it goes down, as soon as you swallow, it gets... there's no more dull. There's no more dulling the pain. Lol, getting hungry with all this spicy food talk. Dude, go get something to eat. You're more than welcome. Buffalo wings are good. I love buffalo wings. I just don't usually get the spicier ones. Or a good bowl of ramen. I haven't had ramen in a long time. But usually when I get ramen, I don't get the spicy one either. I get, like, the more mild ones. Okay, now I'm hungry, too. God damn it. Food can definitely be pain. Absolutely. Especially when you have way too much. Ferryman grog. So strong just the smell is enough to get you drunk. That sounds like my friend Winter, who can smell... like one of these White Claws and just get tipsy off of that. God bless her. She's fantastic and funny and hilarious. But she is not a very heavy drinker, so it's always amusing. My grandma put chicken bones in chocolate chip cookies. Food is pain. Why? Is that real, Casual? Did your grandma just commit, like, a culinary sin? Like, what the fuck is that? Hey, crew, I agree. Someone's trying to kill someone with them chicken bones. Pablo likes ramen too. Good man, Pablo. She said she was senile. I think it was the fact she did not have the right colored grandson. There is a lot to unpack with that sentence, Casual. I'm glad you didn't die to chocolate chip cookies, though. Let's say that. With sriracha. Ramen with sriracha? Yeah, that's a good choice. Even Although I don't put sriracha in my ramen, but I have put it before in pho. And pho is delicious too, depending on how you get it. Winter would die if she smelled the ferryman grog. Yeah, she would. Better luck next time, Granny. Let's hope that his grandma's still not trying to kill him. When you come visit in October, nudge nudge, we could take you to our ramen spot, but it's not as good as what y'all have out in LA. I would be surprised if it was, but I do appreciate that. Actually, I might be able to make that work. Message me later to remind me, but I do think I have time set aside that I can do that. But yeah, message me so I don't forget this. Sorry for getting dark there, dude. We can leave it. No. Okay, I put safe space as a tag here in case anyone wants to talk about anything with no judgment, because I am very not judgmental. Like, everyone is cool as long as no one's hurting someone else. That's good. So, but if you have something from your past you want to talk about, I am also here to listen. I know I look like an idiot right now, especially with this stupid hat that keeps falling off, but I have a library of life experiences to draw from. So, I bet you put one in a PB&J one time, and that's why T doesn't like them. He doesn't like anything because it used to have chicken bones. He doesn't even like buffalo wings because it used to have a chicken bone in it. Nah, she is dead. Well, R.I.P. Grandma. No more attempts on your life, though. That's cool. Spooker. That is a cute kitty. Bro, you are cool, Allegory. You need to stop by more. Enjoy your sense of humor. Well, thanks, Casual. I appreciate that. I do like it when you drop by, and I like it when I find you online when I'm available. I hate that I work sometimes such late hours, but your Resident Evil speedruns are always entertaining, that's for sure. Yeah, I just find a way to loop it back to the chicken bone incidents. Fair enough, fair enough. I would be deathly afraid of stuff if my grandma was hiding chicken bones in it. But my grandma was a saint. I miss her. I don't like PB&Js because I don't like PB. And everyone thinks I'm fucking weird for it because I just don't. I feel like something with that kind of consistency should be sweet, like an icing. Instead it tastes salty, like peanuts. It's so confusing to me. Okay, I've been wearing this for a good amount of time, so I'm going to give up on this unless someone wants to redeem it again, but there are much more interesting stuff I can put on my head if you want. Do you like Nutella? I do, but that has like a ton of cocoa and sugar in it, so that consistency matches up with the flavor profile of it, in my opinion. So, I don't know. I've just accepted the fact that I'm super weird, and other people seem to have accepted that I'm super weird too, so I just kind of roll with it, you know? Yeah, super sweet. Yeah, I've seen pictures where they like break out the sugar content for Nutella, and it's like fucking thick. Like there is some sugar in that shit. Which is like I don't have a big sweet tooth. I'll eat sweet things like maybe once a month at most. But if I had a bit of Nutella, it would set me good for like a year. Weirdness is a good quality. I agree. Normal is boring. Weird is awesome. Weird is always interesting because there's a story behind it too, usually. Honestly, I'm curious to see the pirate persona you end up developing when I actually teach you the tricks of the sea. I don't know if I'd be able to be a good pirate. I feel like I would be a little bit more forgiving than most. But apparently I'm really good with a pistol, because I still remember when I finished the only time I played it, my friends and I finished, we put some powder up on the crow's nest, and they were shooting at it with like sniper rifles, and they were having trouble, so I was just like pulled out my pistol, and I was like, poof, and it was like, poof. And I was like, that's how you guys do it, come on. You gotta learn, you gotta get better. This is why they weren't great in Call of Duty either. Sometimes those stories do not even involve chicken bones. I am down to hear these stories if you want to share. Because your grandma sounds crazy. I can't imagine she was actually trying to kill you, but like being senile enough to put chicken bones in cookies. Like if she was serving it to everyone, it sounds like senility. But I could be wrong. Obviously, I don't know the whole story, so you don't need to be a good pirate, you need to be an interesting pirate. Okay. That's a good point. I like that. Good pirates are a dime a dozen. We want interesting pirates. I like that. That is very deep, actually. Like that could be applied to a lot of different things. My brain is imploding. Please excuse me. Granted, good and interesting pirates ain't half bad. I was gonna say it's a lot like streamers. You don't have to be good at the game, just interesting. Which clearly, I suck at this, which is why I save a lot. Anyway. Alright, it's just past midnight here. Good meeting everyone. I'll see you next time. Alright, Pablo, thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the follow. You go ahead and take care of yourself, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you around sometime soon. Bye-bye. You can drink rum and pillage other ships, but can you be interesting, though? Anyone can drink rum from a cup. Can you keg stand the whole barrel while hanging from the rope ladders? Fucking that's an interesting pirate. I mean, I've met quite a few figures over the years. I would imagine, especially if you've been playing for as long as you say you have. Life goals? Absolutely. Although maybe not rum. For me, probably tequila or whiskey. One or the other. I've kind of gotten over rum, but I would be down to do a tequila or whiskey barrel stand. I would love to see Spooker do one, too. Oh, man. It's been a long time since I've seen Spooker, so I still imagine her as just this little thing. Rum? Bah, real pirates drink grog. What exactly is grog? That sounds like a DC villain. A gorilla? No, he's Grodd. That DC villain is Grodd, right? The psychic gorilla? Yeah. But I don't think I know what Grodd is. Anyway.
Scotland Yard will recover the tea from the scene and carry out the requisite test immediately. The trial will resume at the same hour tomorrow. The prosecution and defense may conduct further investigations as appropriate in the interim.
Yes, my lord. Well, we managed to scrape through there somehow.
Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned until tomorrow.
Wha-bam! It depends. You want the recipe from Monkey Island or the actual recipe? I am curious either way. I'm thick now. Yes. Yes. I have seen your Facebook pictures. You are definitely thick. I think that means you can handle your drinks better now, too, right? I still remember the frickin' 4th of July party. Fucking hilarious. Ah, priceless. Alright, 22nd February, 1:11 p.m. Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. Whew, we made it back in one piece. Just. To be perfectly honest, I thought we were finished there for a while.
Oh, I know. What a lot of close shaves. There are so many carriages on the streets of London. You were very nearly flattened several times.
Oh, no, I didn't mean that.
Yes, I know. It was a marvelous defense, Naruhodo-san. It really was. I was in awe of you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, not a cheap drunk. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. I go through a handle of whiskey when I want to get really wasted. Kerosene, propylene glycol, artificial sweetener, sulfuric acid, rum, acetone, red dye, number 2, scum, axle, grease, battery acid, and or pepperoni. They really drank all that back in the day, huh? That would explain a lot. Oh, that's the Monkey Island one? Okay. I drink all the youngins under the table. Well, they didn't have all the experience that you have. You're welcome. Haha! We're degenerates over here. I'm sorry. Me and my friends are just degenerates. But I love them. As for actual grog, recipe is lime juice, brown sugar, dark rum, and ice. That's not bad. Sounds like it'd be interesting. A lot of rum, though.
Now that your fervent exploits have won us some more precious investigation time, let's see if we can't find some new clues for court tomorrow.
Yes, let's do that.
Is everything all right?
I suppose. I still can't quite believe it. That's all. That I'm here in England, working as a lawyer, I mean. The Old Bailey, no less. The truth is, it shouldn't be me, should it? It should be him standing in my shoes. It should be Kazuma.
It was Kazuma-sama's wish that you follow him to Great Britain and work alongside him.
Yes, I mean, I never had the chance to ask him exactly why, but he clearly had a plan. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him.
And you're doing wonderfully, Naruhodo-san. I've no doubt that Kazuma-sama would say exactly the same if he were here with us.
Thank you, Susato-san. Thank you. Aw, aren't they just adorable? And to think they bone and pop out a lineage leading down to Phoenix. Real pirates drink grog or wine. It's crazy that they're known for rum, more likely, but that's... I believe that. Especially since wine was... Well, wine has been popular since, like, the dawn of civilization, so... In any case, I'm certainly interested. I'm sure you're interested in seeing the pirate you can be. Thanks, that guy. You sound like the army if the army was recruiting for pirates. Be the best pirate you can be. Join the pirates. Alright, let's figure out what we're doing. Today's trial. Bo. It was quite a shock earlier today, wasn't it? When the victim himself turned up in court and took the stand?
I know.
Not only that, but then finding out that he is actually a bare-faced gas thief as well.
Yes, that was certainly a surprise to us all. For a while, it seemed as though everyone had quite forgotten about Soseki-san poisoning the tea.
Careful of your phrasing, Susato-san. He didn't poison anything. And there's more to this Mr. Shamspear than we yet know, I'm sure of it.
Mr. Shamspear certainly wasn't the noble, upstanding man everyone thought he was at first.
What's become of him, actually?
I was told that he'd be returning to the hospital ward where he was receiving treatment.
Oh, which one is that?
Let me see. Ah yes, he's at St. Bartholomew's. Or Bart's, as Londoners call it.
We know that place, don't we?
Yes, we visited Miss Green there yesterday. It's the same hospital to which she was taken.
Nah, more like the old battle-hardened sailor that has a soft spot for teaching new freshwater sailors. Oh, for yourself? Absolutely. I would be the screw-up, I'm sure. Ah, yes, after Soseki-san stabbed her in the back.
Do be careful of your phrasing, Naruhodo-san. He didn't stab anyone.
Perhaps we both owe Soseki-san an apology. St. Bartholomew's. Yes, we should probably visit the hospital later. Alright, what's next? So, we know that Soseki-san took tea to the victim on the night in question. But as he isn't the culprit, then obviously...
Yes, the poison surely wasn't in the tea.
But if that's the case, how on earth did the poison get into Mr. Shamspear's body?
I'm sure we'll find a clue at the scene. There must be something in Mr. Shamspear's room that will help solve the mystery.
Well, naturally, Scotland Yard detectives have been over the place already. But it couldn't hurt for us to have another look around, I think. Ho-ho! Little does Ryunosuke know. They definitely left something I need to find. So.
Definitely. And I'm desperate to know the outcome of the investigation into the teeth left in the bar of soap.
Well, if we run into Inspector Gregson, we could ask him about that. Kazuma's wishes. Kazuma Asogi, the best friend I ever had, and a lawyer with such promise. He really saved my bacon in that horrible incident just before we left Japan. I can still picture him now, looking so fierce and determined in court. And then after the trial, that crazy idea he came up with. As a stowaway? Yes, you can fit inside my trunk if you curl up small enough, I'm sure. No one will know. Kazuma, won't you tell me why? Why go to these lengths so that I can accompany you to Great Britain? Well, it's been on my mind ever since we got through that trial, that you really ought to go into law, be a defense lawyer. You've got a natural talent for it. Believe me. Believe it! Oh. I guarantee it. Personally, my quirks is that I'm a guy that values timely precision, a hell of a navigator, bossy when things are getting tough. Honestly, I know how to give a lot of tough love. Sometimes people need that, especially if they're stubborn, that's for sure. I've definitely had to apply some to stubborn people as well. But I've never even thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, I can't force you, obviously. You'll have to decide for yourself. But anyway, London is the cultural capital of the world, the city at the forefront of everything. Can't hurt for you to see it with your own eyes. No, that's true. I suppose, though, if you were to become a lawyer, then one day... One day what? Oh, no. Never mind. Naruhodo-san? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking about Kazuma.
Yes, he's forever in my thoughts too. To change the Japanese judicial system for the better. That was his dream. And that's why he so desperately wanted to come to Great Britain to study, of course.
Yes, that's right, but... Yes? I do wonder if his true intentions lay elsewhere sometimes. I don't know. The thought just takes hold of me every now and then, that's all. Honestly, I can be a dickhead, but I do it out of a place of care, also out of a place of wanting to stay afloat. Well, when your life's on the line, the dickhead part might justifiably come out, which is understandable. But, being a dickhead because you care. That's not a sentence I've heard before, but it is funny. I like that. Kazuma's true intentions.
Naruhodo-san, what do you mean by Kazuma-sama's true intentions?
I mean this.
His katana?
I never expected to inherit this sword after Kazuma passed away, of course.
No, I know. It was because I asked you to take it.
When I have it at my side in court, I feel as though it gives me courage.
Yes.
Actually, the night before he died, he told me a little about the sword. How convenient. I don't remember him telling me about it in the first game. Kuruma? That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. The Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Kuruma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two? Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain. Something you have to do. Yes. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down.
What did he mean by something very important that I have to do?
Sorry, let me get caught up. Blah, 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 blah. I hate being a dickhead to people, but when the times are tough, the tough get going. Totally fair. I get it. Just, if it's new people, I would recommend maybe not being so mean, but I get it. You want to stay afloat. It's fair. Oh, I don't think I told you. DRC tested positive for COVID again. This makes the 3rd time? Wow, DRC. I'm still a COVID virgin somehow. That is astounding. How you two live together, he's had it 3 times and you haven't had it once, is kind of remarkable. I'm going to be honest. Because my roommate's got it. Like, as soon as one roommate in this house gets it, like, everyone's pretty much guaranteed to get it. Like, we don't go around making out with each other or anything, but you'd think we do, considering how badly, how quickly the COVID spreads. But that is impressive. I'm glad that you have yet to suffer those ill effects. I hope you've got your vaccines nonetheless. My whole family caught it back in late 2021. Damn, that guy. I think it swept through this house once. Yeah. Yeah, it came through our place once. Again, tough love. And I need to get like that out of a place of care and wanting to stay alive. How bad is it to, like, if your sink goes under, like, to just restart? I don't know. His dad was here the 2nd time and he got it. Not me, though. Oh. He passed it to his dad, but still not you. That's crazy. I am boosted too. Good, good. Good girl. I'm proud of you. You do realize that if you sync with the loot on board, the loot is gone. Yeah, I get that. I'm well aware, but, like, how much loot are you normally carrying to where that's a problem? Like, I'm not familiar, again, with the intricacies of looting, but, I don't know. Like, if I died, I still get to keep my gun and my sword. Didn't seem like a problem. A lot? Me and my friends must have been doing it wrong, I guess. I don't know. I had hoped that the answer to that question would become apparent when we arrived here, but as yet I've not found a single clue. I see. Alright, cool. Well, now that we figured out Kazuma's mystery stuff, let's move. No, we don't have to. Well, as far as I know, we only have to go to the hospital and to Mr. Shamspear's room, so let's do that. To the hospital to talk to the asshole. Oh, there's a rat! Oh, it's the fat figure, too. 22nd February, St. Bartholomew's Hospital Recovery Ward.
What do you suppose is happening? It sounds like some sort of disturbance.
Yes, I hear angry voices. Oh, God.
Be not angry, O ample lady, verily thou art mistaken. Mistaken, my foot! You were looking at my painting! The eye of a man hath not heard, the ear of man hath not seen. 'Twas foul indeed, the poison that mustached villain gaveth me. Forgive me, lady. I wish that you died from that poison.
God have mercy, ample lady, but thou seest I have your vigour still.
Behold my Shakespeare dance!
On a good day, I get about 70 plus items to sell. Damn. I think the most we've had is like 4 or 5 skulls and a couple treasure chests? I'm not sure. On a really good day, up to 600. God damn. Hold on, let me DM you something. Yes, please, feel free.
This looks rather This looks rather ominous, doesn't it? Ah, lo, 'tis the lawyer from the land whence riseth the sun. How now?
What are you doing here, Mr. Shamspear?
Marry, I do believe I am returned unto another ward. He was looking, that's what he was doing, looking at my terrible work. Eastern fellow, so darky clad. Faith, thy work in court this morning was wonderful. I do applaud thee.
Oh, well, thank you.
But that doesn't mean things will go so wonderfully for you tomorrow, does it?
You You bent your thing? Oh, no, never mind. I guess we're good. Wow, that one. Okay. Guess he's good.
Anon, exunt!
Mr. Shamsphere might technically be the victim in this case, but there's definitely a lot more to it than that. It's very hard to pin the man down. Alright, guess we're gonna talk to Miss Green.
I'm so sorry, I'm such an awful person.
Ah, Miss Green, is everything alright?
Oh, yes, I mean, don't worry about me. They're about to discharge me, so I must get ready to leave now.
Oh, I see.
We're delighted that you'll soon be well enough to go home, Miss Green. Oh dear, you're too kind. I don't deserve it.
Check your DMs. I will after the stream, sir. But thank you for hitting me up. And I'm sure you're going to show me your loot haul, so that should be interesting. Oh, I can't converse with her? I can just examine, I guess? Is there anything new I can examine, or is that just it? There are lots of bottles in that cabinet, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them like that?
If you were a patient here, I'd feel sure you'd take some medicine by mistake when you were half asleep.
That is a worry, but at least the cabinet has a lock, even if it's only a flimsy-looking one.
Oh, I've no doubt you'd manage to unlock that somehow while you were half asleep as well.
There are limits even to what I can do when I'm half asleep, you know, Miss Susato. 70 fortress kegs, 11 chests of legends, and God knows how many trinkets. Also, God knows how many fortress chests. I have no idea what those are, but it sounds interesting. I can't wait to see it. So are you feeling more like yourself today, Miss Green?
I am, thank you. I mean, people do recover from ordeals like this, don't they? Even people like me.
Well, yes, it really was an ordeal, wasn't it?
As far as I was concerned, I was just walking along in the snow one evening, minding my own business. And then, completely out of the blue, I was struck in the back by a knife and collapsed unconscious for days. Of course, when I finally woke up again yesterday, the whole business had been cleared up already. What a terrible week it's been for you. Oh no, I'm sure I'm very lucky, really. I'll look back on this fondly.
Really?
Anyway, I must be getting my things together now, so I'm ready to be discharged.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry to take up your time when you're obviously busy. Alright, talk to her. It's a rat! Anything else? No, no. No. Checked that, we checked that, we checked everything. I guess we're done here for now. Alright. Can't converse, so we'll move. Moving on to Mr. Shamsphere's room. Trinkets are tiny, small items. Trinkets. Well, no, I get that. I can't... I'm assuming you're talking like, my friends and I found some skulls that we could trade in. I'm assuming those are the kind of trinkets you're talking about. Which is understandable. Cool. Oh, God. I forgot to read it. Oh, whatever. Oh! Hello again, Inspector Gregson. Eating his fish and chips. I am so hungry for fish and chips now.
What are you doing here?
Well, we were hoping to have another look around, actually.
The lawyer representing the defendant has a right to examine the scene, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yeah, I know the score.
Oh, yes, one other thing. The soap on the ledge outside the window. Did you find it? With the tea in it?
Yeah, we found it all right. There was a small amount of tea in it, as you said.
I knew it.
It's with the identification section at the yard now. They're looking into it. The results should be available later today.
That's wonderful news, thank you.
He doesn't seem happy.
Pretty impressive performance in court this morning.
Sorry?
Nothing, forget it. Just make sure you don't disturb anything in here.
Alright, sure, I won't disturb anything in this messy-ass fucking apartment. Alright, let's examine everything in this messy-ass fucking apartment. Yeah, those are the trinkets you're talking about? Okay. Understandable. I'm sure those are... yeah, I'm sure they're limitless in whatever you're sending me. The sun never shines in this room thanks to that depressing bricked-up window.
Yet, with enough determination, you can always remove the bricks to set some soap outside, can't you?
That sounds like a very wise life lesson, Miss Usato.
Only if you plan to follow a life of crime, Mr. Naruhodo.
Just trying to be supportive of your observations, bitch. She's not a bitch, I'm kidding. I love her. Ah, the ill-fated teacups from which the two men drank on the ill-fated night.
During their heated literary debate, yes.
Who's stronger, Romeo or Juliet? It sounds like it was quite a discussion.
Now that I think of it, I'm sure that the two lovers in the play ended their lives with poison.
That's fiction, Miss Usato. Let's hope it stays that way. Honestly, early game gets you very little loot. It's early game. To be expected. Late game quests give you tons of loot. Makes sense. Logically, in a game, yeah, that's usually what happens. You can get a decent amount of loot early game if you know what you're doing, which you weren't. Absolutely. We had no clue, so I believe you. Like, if you started a new character, I'm sure you'd be looting stuff left and right, even as a brand new sailor. We had trouble just remembering that we had infinite bullets down below. Alright, let's examine the soap.
So it turns out that Mr. Shamspeare wasn't eating the soap at all.
That's right. The mystery of why he had it on a plate whilst holding a fork in his hand is solved.
Yes, to prize his latest ice coin out of its mold. And in the process, he accidentally broke the bar of soap in two.
It certainly was hard to imagine, let alone deduce. That's fine, that's fine, that's not... Alright, let's examine the meter, I guess. If you ran out of change, you wouldn't even have any light, let alone heat. For the needy, London's winters can be very harsh.
That's true, but if you think about it, even the wealthy would find themselves freezing if they ran out of small change.
London's winters can be very harsh for the forgetful, too, then. Frankly, I'm starting to wonder if Susato-san and I are going to make it to spring.
That's true, we don't even have a meter at Baker Street, let alone a gas stove.
Ooh, there it is. Look how dark the stain on the floor is underneath the meter there.
Yes, from all the water dripping out after the ice coins melted, as you established in court this morning.
It's a very large and obvious stain, isn't it?
Mr. Shamspeare must have used an awful lot of ice coins, I suppose.
It was an ingenious idea, I'll give him that. If he only wasn't an asshole. Lamp. Oh, no, not the picture. Alright, let's talk to Gregson.
Are you looking for new clues, Inspector?
On Lord Van Zeek's orders, yeah. Don't come back till you've got something for me, he says. Tss.
Oh dear, poor you.
Yeah, poor me, because we've already searched every bleeding nook and cranny in this place. I don't know what he expects, to be honest. Thank goodness for warm chips is all I can say.
Well, at least he's honest. Do 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 do. Okay, there is literally nothing else to examine here. No. Okay. Do I need to go to... I probably gotta go visit Sholmes, don't I? Alright, let's go talk to Sholmes then. Honestly, I have way too fucking many accomplishments to even think of deleting my character. That's totally understandable. I still have a WoW character from back when I played. I did so much on it, but considering how much I did, I'm not going to delete him. He exists in an ether that I'm never going to return to, but I don't think I'd ever bring myself to delete him. Huh.
Hey, ass butt.
I'll be dead and gone before I even think of deleting my character. Dude, you're talking to someone who understands that pain. Also, hey Diva Kitty, how you doing? Thank you for the ass butt. Everyone loves a good Castile insult, that's for sure. How you doing today, though? How's everything? How's life? I hope that you've been having a good past couple weeks. I can't remember the last time I saw you. I think it might have been maybe a week ago when I was playing this. I'm not sure. But please tell me, how are you doing today? How is your day going? How is your evening? I want to hear all about it. Also, I guess I'm going to talk to my friend Sholmes. 22nd February. Sholmes' suite. Wait.
Slurp. Oh, Bruno and Susie, hooray, you're back! Hello, Iris. You're in fine spirits as always, I see. I am! And you look as immaculately presented as ever, Susie! Oh, you flatter me. Well, you couldn't have come back at a better time. I just made a pot of tea. I'll set some cups.
Really? Thanks, Iris. But actually, what is that foul smell? Aha! The Wanderers return at last. Where on earth have the pair of you been? We've been in court. Oh, for Mr. Mustache's case. That was today, was it?
I'm sure I mentioned it only yesterday, Mr. Sholmes.
I'm sure you think you did. Well, we can't laugh about it now. So tell me, how did the trial go? Reasonably well so far. We've managed to escape without a guilty verdict, at least. Doing okay. Staying at my sister's house right now. Remember I was having some... Yes. That, I do remember that, and that was... I didn't want to ask about it just in case, but... I'm sorry that things don't seem to be going well right now. Last time I watched you were playing Stray, I think. Okay, that was... Not last Friday, but the Friday before, I think. Yeah. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that things haven't gotten better. I hope at the very least that you are enjoying your time with your sister. That you've been finding ways to just kind of take your mind off of things a little bit here and there. I mean, obviously it's something that you have to address at some point, but I hope that from now you're staying afloat, essentially. But yeah. I want to ask you questions, but I don't want to overstep any boundaries, so... He won't leave me alone, I'm just trying to figure out what I want. What do you mean, he won't leave you alone? Like, is he, like, hounding you? Like, is he trying to ask you questions or something? Or is he trying to be near, but you just need some space for a while? Is that what's going on? I'm just trying to figure out what I want. Yeah, that's the kind of question you ask yourself that you need space on. That's totally fair. I'm just concerned, like, hopefully he's not hounding you, like, trying to... What's the word I'm thinking of? See you at work and stuff like that. You won't stop texting or calling me? Close. That's a close equivalent, yeah. You won't stop texting or calling, yeah. Well, thankfully, that's why you can put your phone on silent. But, obviously, if you put your phone on silent, you can't really do anything else text-wise if people text you, I suppose. I don't know. I'm overthinking it, but... May I ask what you told him? Like, did you tell him, like, hey, I just need some time by myself to think about thing? I need some time to think about thing. Yeah, just the thing. Just the one thing. Not multiple things, but... Oh my god. I cannot talk tonight. I apologize. I told my managers I don't want him in the building. Good. Good, good, good. I'm glad that at least your coworkers are trying to help you out, you know? But, you set the boundary, right? You're just like, hey, stop, give me time. And I would ask you, like, what's on your mind when you're trying to figure stuff out, but I'm sure that's a question that if you knew the answer to, you wouldn't be thinking about it. Okay, cool. Need some time to think about stuff in space. That's the right thing to do, especially considering how complicated the situation is. Like, when you're in the deep of it and it gets really messy, sometimes, like what you're doing now, the best thing to do is just like separate yourself from it, take a step back, think, just kind of untangle everything. So you're definitely doing the right thing, analyzing it from the space. I want to leave him. Well, it's never a good thing when something like this happens, obviously. But if you feel that it's in your best interest, the best interest of your mental health, best interest in the long run. That's what I'm trying to say. I was trying to say like long scheme of things, but that wasn't right. I couldn't figure out why, but yeah, that's a big choice. So yeah, you definitely take some time to think that one over. I will do my best to help you forget about it with really bad voices. How about that? Does that sound good? He was controlling me and gaslighting me? Really? I'm curious... Oh my god. I'm curious how he was gaslighting you, just to, you know, give me some perspective, I guess. Like, I want to understand. I like to listen. I like to hear people out, you know? Let's see if I can get back in the accent. Really? I would have liked to see it. And I must pass the time of day with Mr. Reaper again. It's been too long. Is Lord Van Zeek's an acquaintance, Mr. Sholmes? Naturally. There's not a person in the world who doesn't know my name, Mr. Naruhodo. Not quite what I asked, but still.
Mr. Sholmes, whatever is that odor?
Yes, what is it? It's faint, but absolutely awful. Ah, indeed. That's the scent of victory, my dear fellows. Victory in science.
Oh dear.
Alright, I'll bite. What's he up to now? Before I click, he would call me crazy, say things, and say I forget things. Of course it makes sense. Like, I understand what gaslighting is in a broad definition of it, obviously. But I was just curious if you had any, like, specific things that he had done gaslight-wise. Which is an interesting word in itself, gaslight. That was... Like, where the hell did that come from? Speaking of, I'm playing a game where they use gas for their lights. So we're all being gaslit in this game. That was a bad joke. I apologize. But, yes, that does make sense. If you are now in a position to recognize all of that, then all the more reason to take a step back and analyze everything. Manipulative behavior? Yeah, that's all the more reason to backpedal, look at it logically, analyze everything, figure out for yourself the best way to proceed. And if it happens to be without him, so be it. It's unfortunate, but if it's better for you, more power to you. Whatever is in your best interest is how, you know, me and everyone in here who are empathetic to that will support you. Oh, now I can talk. Perfect. Lord Van Zeeks. I would love to know what your relationship with that guy is. Absolutely. Lord Barak Van Zeeks. Yes, it's an interesting sobriquet he has, isn't it? The Reaper of the Bailey. Once the legendary prosecutor has fought for someone's conviction, that person is doomed. Even if he or she is found not guilty by the courts, sooner or later the hapless soul will vanish from the capital. But vanish how exactly? By falling under a passing carriage, or drowning in the Thames, or succumbing to a sudden fever, or, quite out of the blue, being set upon by a highwayman. There are numerous routes to one's final terminus, my dear fellow. It all seems a little far-fetched, really. Well, on the bright side, Mr. Mustache is fighting fit. For the time being, at least. That's not overly reassuring. I just want to be safe and happy. Don't we all? Don't we all? But I'm just glad that you're out of his way right now, you're staying with your sister, and you're taking some time to really analyze yourself and where you're going. And if, yeah, like I said, if this is the path you choose to take, I support you.
If the rumors are true, though, the obvious conclusion would surely be that those acquitted are, well, by Lord Van Zeek's own hand.
As it happens, Miss Susato, that is quite impossible.
Oh, why?
Naturally, the man very quickly came under such suspicion. However, whenever these incidents occurred, the Reaper always had a cast iron alibi. Really? And so his reign continued, but 5 years ago, he vanished from the courts, never to appear as a prosecutor again. That is, until you arrived in the country, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, so I've heard. In fact, it was the very day I arrived when I was thrust into that trial at the Old Bailey. That bitter fight to the death coincided with the Reaper's resurrection, and really did end bitterly indeed. And here you are, facing Mr. Reaper again.
Poor Runo! I don't know if you're just incredibly unlucky or incredibly unlikable.
I think it goes deeper than just me. I sense a general loathing of all Japanese people. Thank you, buddy. Anytime, Diva. Anytime. That is part of why I like my chat to be judgment-free. Anyone could say what's on their mind, get stuff off their chest. Whatever makes you happy. So, yeah. Hopefully this whole situation will resolve itself quickly. At least, you know, for your mental health. Let's see what that foul smell is. So, what is that indescribably foul smell? Ah, well, most probably this, I would say. What is that? My dear fellow, it is, of course, my latest invention. A chemical test that can identify whether or not a tea is genuine at the drop of some tea. Oh my. There are some unscrupulous sorts manning the stalls along some of London's less frequented streets. They regularly sell what purports to be high-quality tea, but is in fact merely dyed leaves of drab flavor. Well, that's certainly unsavory behavior. So, when one is presented with what appears to be black tea, one must be careful. Iris!
At the ready, Hurley!
Let us add a drop of my chemical to this cup of tea here. Do you see what happens? It's turned completely black.
And what a foul odor it's giving off!
Indeed, the blacker the tea becomes, the more foul the odor, the better the tea is. Wait, what? So, you add the drop to the tea, and it gets blacker and more foul when it's higher quality, so you just ruined your tea. That seems backwards. It would be hypocritical of me if I said this isn't the place for that, so by all means let that steam out. Exactly. Most definitely. Yeah, that's how tea work. Is that it gets blacker and becomes more foul? I feel like that's the opposite. His test ruins the tea. Okay, well. Yeah, that's a thing? Well, that's surprising to me. I don't really know bad-smelling tea. Usually tea smells like nothing to me. But I'm not like a connoisseur of teas. That's for sure. It would appear that this cup was a particularly fine Darjeeling. That's Very ingenious, but what do you do with that black liquid now? Why, dispose of it, naturally. Surely you wouldn't like to drink it, would you?
There does seem to be a rather obvious problem with your new invention, Mr. Sholmes.
Hence why this chemical test is merely a test, my dear madam. Right. The point is, we are entering a new era of science, in the world of criminal investigation also.
Yes, forensic science. Oh, these are such exciting times.
I regularly engage in this scientific experimentation alongside my unofficial consulting detective work. The Herlock-Sholmes method will be the foundation upon which modern investigative technique is based. This little tea indicant was a happy byproduct of my ongoing forensic science research. Forensic science? I suppose I should find out more about that. Oh, Ryunosuke, we went over this last game. Come on. Alright, let's talk about Japanese people. With Mr. Natsume, who I'm currently defending being Japanese as well as Miss Susato and myself, I felt it even more keenly in court today. For some reason, Lord Van Ziek seems to have an inherent disdain of the Japanese. Indeed, it is an interesting observation.
Do you know something about it? Do you, Mr. Sholmes?
It was about 10 years ago that Barrick Van Ziekst chose to enter the legal profession. However, before that time, the young man's closest companion hailed from the Empire of Japan.
No!
What the? Tell us more, Mr. Sholmes. What happened? I believe I've made it clear before. I'm unable to tell you anything about the affair.
Oh, but...
The veil will be lifted on the events of the past in due course, I have no doubt. For now, however, it is Mr. Mustache who is most deserving of your attention, I believe. Well, let's talk about forensic science first. So, your T-test, is that an example of forensic science? Indeed it is. An essential tool in cases that hinge on the knowledge of whether some tea is of high or inferior quality. Not a huge number of cases, then. Perhaps a more practical example is required. Fingerprints? Not yet accepted in our courts as evidence, I might add. Really, we are dragging our heels there. I hadn't even heard of them until recently. Which is partly why I undertake research in this field myself, of course.
Does that mean you're studying fingerprints, Mr. Sholmes?
There are others in that field already, and I abhor the company of inferior minds. No, what I am researching is skin prints. Skin prints? A nomenclature of my own design, as is this chemical agent that makes it possible. It instantly reveals objects touched by whichever person is under investigation.
Brilliant, Mr.
No, wrong voice.
Brilliant, Mr. Sholmes.
As long as it doesn't turn everything completely odorous and black. I assure you, my dear fellows, you will witness my forensic talents in action very soon indeed. Well, I think we should go back to the scene and see if we can uncover any new clues.
That's the spirit, Runo! See you later, alligator!
Yes, until later, alligator. No, Mr. Sholmes. We were thinking you'd come with us. You were? Yes, of course. You said so just a moment ago. You said we'd witness your forensic talents in action. Ah, yes, I do recall saying something along those lines. But you go on ahead. I shall be sure to follow you later, in all likelihood. Probably. Maybe. Well, I might. Your commitment astounds me.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes. We'll eagerly await your arrival. Bye-bye, Runo! Bye, Susie!
I can only imagine what my roommates think when I do that voice loudly, and they can hear it in the other room. Alright, now we can go here. And there is the man himself. Mr. Sholmes, what are you up to over there? What a question indeed. Was it not your good self who asked me to attend the scene?
Oi, what are you doing here, Sholmes?
What are you up to over there? What are you doing here? Dear me, once a great detective, one is always under scrutiny, it seems.
Is now the time, Mr. Sholmes? Are you about to show us your forensic talents in action as you promised?
With the greatest of pleasure, my dear madam. Oh, okay, he's got goggles now. What's all this? Ooh, and they rotate. All this is precisely what you requested, Mr. Naruhodo. Herlock Sholmes' sensational skin print seeker gun. Moments ago, I took a sample from the teacup that was used by the victim. A sample from Mr. Shamspeare's cup. Each individual leaves microscopic secretions on everything he or she touches. A sample of those secretions is all I need to produce this, a refined indicator solution. By liberally... Wow, holy crap, I fucked that word up. By liberally spraying the room with this chemical, everything the victim touched is instantly revealed with the aid of these goggles. Here, try them on. There, now, spray the chemical indicator about and all will be revealed. Spray? How do I do that exactly? A little press of space on the area you're interested in is all that's required, like this. Ah, what is that stuff? It's like fog. A suspension of the chemical indicator in a pressurized gas. It's the most efficient way to cover a large area. That was another invention I discovered incidentally whilst I was developing this idea. As you do. Go ahead, try it, my dear fellow. We may learn something interesting about the victim's movements on the night in question. Well, there's nothing to lose, I suppose. Let's explore. Spray, spray, spray. Spray. Nothing weird. Nothing weird. What the hell? Look, there are dozens of handprints here. So there are, a great many indeed. So much so that it's hard to make out any one individual print, in fact.
Brr, it sends a chill down my spine.
Perhaps he was leaning against the wall while he admired this picture? Unlikely, I would say. It's a rather dull scene, after all.
And without wishing to state the obvious, you wouldn't generally admire a picture from such close quarters, I feel.
Oh, very true, Mr. Zato. It's a bit of a mystery, then. I'm just spraying the gun, just spraying the gun. I don't know what else to spray. Am I done? Can I stop spraying? Am I done? Oh. Oh, there's more down here. Oh, look at all this here. Ah, yes. Yes, interesting. A multitude of the victim's handprints.
Why are there so many of them on the floor in this one spot?
Oh, perhaps he had a bad fall just here.
There's nothing obvious that he would have tripped over, though, is there?
I wonder. Personally, I often stumble when there's nothing obvious to trip over.
I think that's something only a great detective would do, Mr. Sholmes.
Well, this is quite a puzzle. Handprints are all over the floor. Yes, there's no obvious explanation. Except to check the floorboards. Boom, baby. Well, we sprayed Mr. Sholmes' amazing skin print indicator all over this room, didn't we?
We did, but there are two places in particular that are of interest, I would say.
Don't. The handprint's on the floor there. And on the wall by the picture, you mean?
Yes! And I think the floor warrants closer investigation. I won't be a moment. Ah!
What is it, Miss Usato?
Look here, Mr. Naruhodo. One of the floorboards has popped out.
One of the... You mean... It's a secret hiding place. Excellent work, Miss Usato. So, what do we have in here?
Oi, what are you lot doing?
Inspector Gregson.
Stand aside right this minute. It's my job to investigate there.
No need, Inspector. You continue to dig into your portion of chips whilst we dig around under the floor here.
Your fancy talk's putting me off my food anyway, Sholmes. A new bit of evidence is exactly what I need.
Wow, a secret hiding place under the floor. What a find.
It's not a hiding place you could make use of in Japan. I don't think I could live to straw Tatami Mat.
No, I know, but I never expected one of these wooden floorboards to move either. It's got me wondering about the wall over there, too. Aren't you curious?
Oh! I'll investigate at once. There's nothing behind the picture, sadly. Only the wall.
How disappointing. But then, how do you explain the handprints?
I really can't think why anyone would have been touching the wall over and over in one place like that.
Click. Whir. There you are, a print for you. The photograph of the handprints on the wall has been entered into the court record. Traces of handprints on the wall discovered using the skin print seeker gun. There are multiple prints on either side of a hanging picture. Oh, thank you very much. His invention can make prints, too? Boy, he's super advanced with his tech, isn't he? Alright, I gotta see this. Okay. It definitely looks like the handprints were pressed against the wall. Over the picture, not like going behind the picture. Couple on the lamp, couple on this. Some nails loose here. Alright, I don't see anything really that out of the ordinary right now, but we'll probably need this later. Now then, I wonder if Inspector Gregson has found anything under the floor there. I'm desperate to know!
So am I.
Well, I guess we'll just examine Gregson over here. What you doing, big guy? I'd love to know if there's... Oh, that's right. Sorry. I'd love to know if there's anything hidden underneath the floorboard there. Allow me to ask Gregson now. After all, we're well acquainted. Inspector Gregson, really, it's been too long.
What is it, Sholmes?
I thought perhaps you might show me what you found there, seeing as we're such good friends.
We're not friends.
No, I suppose not. A dismal failure. Yes, I heard. Kill to know what was under that floorboard.
Alright then, fair's fair.
What?
You did discover the hiding place after all. I suppose I should at least fill you in.
Really, Inspector? Thank you. Do it quickly, my dear fellow. If there's one thing I know about this man, it's that he blows with the wind, as fickle as the weather.
Oi, stop making me out to be some kind of nut. There were 3 items under the floor there. A newspaper clipping, a photographic print, and a tin box. Now, what do you want to know?
All 3, please, but, sure, let's start with the newspaper clipping.
Looks like this was cut out of the paper about 3 months ago. It's about a convict who got sick and died while he was serving time up in Manchester.
How terrible.
It made the headlines down here in London as well. The bloke had been sentenced to death, you see. But nature got him first.
Oh my goodness, he'd committed a capital offense?
Man by the name of Selden. Nasty piece of work into burglaries and murder. They say the hoard he'd knocked off was worth about £1,000.
A hoard of treasure, you mean?
Jewelry and the like. But he hidden it somewhere and no one knows where. And now he's dead. The papers loved it, of course. £1,000 lost en route to hell, some such was the headline.
Does it not strike you, though, why such an article would be so carefully ensconced under the floor?
I suppose now you mention it, it does seem a bit odd. Perhaps I'll go over the paperwork we've got on Selden back at the yard and see if I can turn anything up.
Nice! We got a newspaper article, guys. And I'm going to examine it right now, because I like touching the evidence. Condemned criminal dies of natural causes in prison. Manchester's Strangeways Prison announced the death of convicted murderer and burglar Selden by natural causes in the early hours this morning. He had been suffering with fever since the end of October. Alerted by the shouts of his fellow cellmate, medical staff arrived to find him already dead before his capital punishment could be carried out. Nah, it was fake. He escaped. I don't know. I'm just pulling stuff out of my ass right now. But let's ask about the next one. Photographic print. Oh, hello. That's Garadeb and juror number 3? Anyway.
So, this is the photographic I found. Looks reasonably recent to me.
Oh, is that Olive's boyfriend or something? I don't remember. Yes, it would appear to have been taken on the street in front of the house here.
And the gentleman on the left is Mr. Garadeb, the landlord, of course.
But who's the young man on the right? Mr. Garadeb's son, perhaps?
Perhaps. You can take that print if you'd like.
Really? Are you sure? We can presume, therefore, that the yard already knows. The identity of the young fellow, that is. Ah, is that true?
Well, it's too bad if we do. Unfortunately for you lot, leaking information isn't one of my pastimes.
My dear Inspector, if I may be so bold as to point something out. Pastimes are for one's leisure, but this is for work.
All the more reason I'm not telling you.
A dismal failure. Yes, I heard. Hidden photograph, blah blah blah. I wonder why a photograph like this was hidden under the floor. I mean, Mr. Shakespeare himself isn't in it. Photographic prints are still rare treasures in the East End. I imagine Mr. Garadeb was rather delighted to have been immortalized. He probably made a proud present of it. Proud present of it to who? For what? And why? We are gonna...
I might sneeze.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Anyway. So I see paint stuffs. Happy dude. Happy Garadeb with a medal. I don't know. Something's off about this picture. But we'll find out later, I'm sure. And the tin box. Let's go.
Now this tin box looks interesting, doesn't it?
Might I suggest, Inspector, that you open it? If you were to find something inside that reveals the truth behind this case, I wouldn't be in the least surprised.
Yeah, funnily enough, I've already had a look. It's completely empty.
What? Shakespeare, give us a clue, man!
You didn't even have the chance to utter a word, Mr. Naruhodo. But anyway, at least we found out what's inside the box.
Yes, thin air. It's empty, rather like how I feel inside. Is there nothing more to this box, then, I wonder? Put it in my evidence so I can examine it! Aw, is that a kitty? It's the kitty! That's Mr. Natsume's kitty! Oh, look at him.
Oh, look, it's that lovely little kitty cat. What was its name?
It's Mr. Natsume's, isn't it? I don't think we ever asked him, actually. Why don't we call it, Wagahai? You know, like Mr. Natsume refers to himself in Japanese. Wonder how he got in here. Clever cat.
Oh, wonderful. Well then, Wagahai, here's something delicious I bought for you from the cat's meat man.
Oh, look at him. He's so cute.
Just a cute kitty.
It's a good thing she bought cat food from the cat meats man without realizing she was going to be running into a cat today.
He couldn't be happier now, look.
Just hope he can bring some happiness to his owner, too. I'm going to examine Wagahai. Hey, cutie. You got anything for me? Maybe some evidence? That's a nice bow. That was a cheeky little meow, Wagahai.
Oh, but he's so adorable. I could sit and watch him forever.
I think he may not appreciate that after a while, and we have an investigation to get back to. Oh, Wagahai, what are you doing in here? You rascal! I love you. Can't examine the picture either. Alright, well... I'm not sure what to do now. I got all this sweet evidence. Ah, right, Mr. Garrideb. Let's go to his room and see what the fuck is going on with this picture. (22nd February, Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's room.
Mr. Garrideb appears to be out.
Oh well. I suppose we'll just have to come back again later. Welp, I tried that. Let's go talk to Natsume, I guess, and see what's going on. Maybe he's got something new for me. 22nd February, local prison, cell 9.
Oh, Mr. Natsume is back.
So he is. Mr. Natsume, hello. I am a cat. Sorry? I don't know who Mr. Natsume is, or Herlock Sholmes. I don't know about courts, or trials, or Old Baileys. I am a cat. That's what I am. Just a cat.
Mr. Naruhodo, he's trying to escape from reality.
Trying to. He already has. Completely. So, what is your name then? As yet, I have no name.
Mr. Naruhodo, he hasn't fully thought out his new identity yet. Maybe it's not too late to bring him back to reality.
Back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. That's why you gotta be careful about reality. You might lose your gravity. Oh god, my nose is gonna... I'm just like, there's a sneeze waiting. Ah! Anyway. Do you think you could open your eyes for us, Mr. Natsume? Now my nose is running. God damn. I'm so sorry. I am not a cat.
It worked! He's back in the real world.
What's going to become of me? No! Don't answer that! It's obvious. My accursed soul is never going to escape this accursed fate.
Mr. Natsume, no, this morning's proceedings in court prove that there's hope.
Yes, Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire was brilliant, but... The Reaper is omnipresent in court in my lodgings. Here, there, everywhere. What's he looking straight at me for? I think perhaps there are some things we should discuss. Oh, yes, we must. Alright, let's talk about a lot. This morning's trial. In my whole life, I have ever been so moved as I was today. No! Of course, if I cast my mind back, there were perhaps one or two other occasions that moved me more. But if I just block those out, then today, being in that courtroom was... It was the most moving experience of my life, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! You're too kind.
Scotland Yard found the remaining tea, just as we deduced, and are analyzing it as we speak.
There's nothing wrong with that tea. They won't find a drop of poison in it. That's a solemn, sworn, Soseki certainty.
Tell me, did you both drink the tea at the same time that night?
Oh yes, most definitely. Remember, drink tea while it's hot. We both poured it down our throats like it was a hot bath for our bellies.
But at the time, you were both completely fine.
As shown by the fact that he and Mr. Shamspear then engaged in the Romeo and Juliet match. I suppose the focus of tomorrow's proceedings will be how the poison was taken by the victim, though. Mr. Shamspear.
That rotten Shamspear, what have I ever done to him?
You don't recall him taking issue with you over anything you've done recently?
I've been holed up in my room, immersed in books. I don't recall anything. Anything at all!
Right.
But what I don't understand is why he didn't let me know sooner.
Let you know what, Mr. Natsume?
About the soup, of course. What else?
Oh dear. Are you struggling with such a meager stipend?
Of course I am. If I had money, I wouldn't have chosen to live in an accursed existence in such accursed lodgings.
Oh yes, you said it's because the place is cursed that it's so cheap, didn't you?
Exactly, especially the room that I rent. The spirit of that capital offender who lived there still haunts the place, and it's trying to kill me.
Capital offender?
Might I ask, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, that the next time you visit me, you bring scores of super soft soaps?
I'm gonna say no. I'm not gonna help you steal gas, sir, but I could bring you one bar to bathe with. You are kind of stinky. Anyway, I feel like I gotta present something to him now. Let's try this. Mr. Natsume? It's nothing much, but...
Ah, it's been too long since I've been offered a present with that delightfully humble etiquette of our homeland.
What?
You're too kind. I accept it gladly.
Sorry, but I wasn't trying to give it to you, actually. Okay, so you don't know nothing about that. Is this capital offender thing?
What's this?
It's a newspaper cutting that we found in Mr. Shamspear's room.
Ah, so he knew, did he?
Sorry?
About this man, Selden. A convicted killer, and the evil spirit behind the curse that afflicts my lodgings.
What?
He's already taken one young man's life, and now he's trying to take the life of another, a miserable, mustached, much-maligned Japanese man.
Mr. Natsume, if you know something, please, you must tell us. Tell us everything you can about this evil spirit. Capital offender Selden.
The truth is, I didn't know the details myself until very recently. That Selden man was arrested about a year ago now. And at the time, he was hiding out in lodgings at Mr. Garadeb's house.
What? He lived where you do now?
That's right, yes, exactly where I live now. In my very room.
Oh my, your room was previously occupied by a criminal found guilty of a capital offense?
But before his sentence could be carried out, he died in prison. That was 3 months ago now. And that's when it started. The curse.
What really is this curse you keep mentioning, Mr. Natsume?
It's already caused one death. A few months after the criminal passed away in prison, a man died in the room. The man who rented it after Selden, in fact. The poor lodger, he was found dead in mysterious circumstances. The room was locked from the inside.
Locked from the inside? Exactly like the case we're dealing with now. So that's the convict's curse, is it? Yes, well, that was the start of it.
Alright. More info, please.
Do you have any idea how the lodger before you passed away, Mr. Natsume?
The official cause of death was asphyxia. When they discovered the body, the room was full of gas.
Gas.
I only found that out after I signed the lease. When Mr. Garrideb came to tell me later, I couldn't stop myself trembling. In fact, if I'd known beforehand, I'd probably have been too scared to take the room. Landlord's lease, luckily legal.
Lucky for Mr. Garrideb, maybe, but not so lucky for poor Mr. Natsume. Oh, God. This better be fucking allergies and not me catching something. I swear to God. And now you believe this curse is affecting you.
It is, at first. I just felt as though I was being watched. All the time.
And then you talked about having nightmares, didn't you?
The dead are trying to take me with them. They come for me and try to suffocate me. Just when I'm struggling to breathe, I wake up. And the room is as cold as ice.
But why is your room so cold?
London winters are too cold to bear without any heating on overnight. But for some reason, even though I light the stove before I climb into bed at night, the pilot light always goes out and the room fills with gas.
But that's terrible. It's exactly the same situation as what led to the previous occupant's death. And then there's what happened to Mr. Shamspeare last night when he was mysteriously poisoned. There's clearly more to that incident that can be explained by a curse, though.
Whatever can be the cause of all these strange happenings in Mr. Garrideb's rooms?
I don't know. Do I need to present something else? Because I can't talk to him about anything else. You want something? You want a picture? Here's a picture. Oh, no. Skip. Nope. Not giving you it. Use that. Present. No, not that. I hope you guys didn't hear that. I hope I hit the mute button in time. Oof. That one hurt my lungs. Let's ask him about the teacups, though. Nope, more gifts? Okay. And there was another one. What about the half of the envelope? Nope, nothing. Ugh. I'm not giving you stuff. Shut up. Right. I don't know what else to do with him. I think we're done with him, though. I think I got one more in me. I'm like yelling out to my freaking roommates with my sneezes. God damn, they're loud. Garrideb's room. They have to be back now, right? Oh my god. 1 second. Alright. It's gonna happen again. What the hell is going on with my allergies? Alright. Let's see if Mr. Garrideb's here. Yes, perfect. Ah, you're here now, Mr. Garrideb. Right, belly business. I don't fucking know what fucking voice I gave him. It was obviously old and British. I don't normally have sneezing fits on stream, so this is kind of irritating for me. Okay, let me see. Right belly business. Right? No. Right belly business it is for me, you know, getting out and about. Were you at the... Okay. If this keeps happening, I might just call the stream because this is frustrating. Were you at the Old Bailey by any chance? Naturally, the fate of my lodgings hanging in the balance and all that, not a trial to miss. The fate of what's already been dubbed your haunted lodgings, yes. Of course, the place has caused quite a stir around the capital on more than one occasion already. As the old haunted lodgings or some such. Ah, well, at least he knows. Makes you wonder what the place is going on, don't you know?
Yes, I'm sure it does. In fact, thinking back to Mr. Natsume's other trial just 2 days ago, you were at the Old Bailey then as well, weren't you? Testifying with your wife about what happened.
Stopped off at the prison on my way home, in fact. Beastly business. I see. So, what brings you to my haunted abode today, eh? Let's converse about your lodgings. Some fishy fellow from the Far East and a failed actor chap of questionable character, eh? Yes, the house does seem to have become something of a magnet for rum fellows of late. Thanks to that bally curse. The convict's curse, you mean? Ah, heard the stories, have you? Rotten scoundrel was arrested here, and then the next chap in the room goes and keels over. Then there was that woman who dropped dead just outside on the street, not to mention the actor yesterday. Am I next, eh? Well, can't help but get the collywobbles, can you?
When you say the woman who dropped dead outside on the street, do you mean Miss Green?
Because Miss Green, who was stabbed by the knife, and Mr. Shamspear, who was poisoned last night, are both very much alive still. Yes, well, so is that blasted convict's curse, it seems. Personally, I should be quite content with such lodgings. A bath, a toilet, a fireplace, that's fascinating history, why? It sounds like the lap of luxury. Not so sure about that. Well, there's no bath or toilet included, and no fireplace either. But you do look out for your tenants, don't you? By watching the rise and fall of the flames in your gas lamps up here? Yes, never hurts to keep an eye on things, in case there are any mishaps or such like. I think you've had your mishap already, so... That's not helpful, Mr. Sholmes. Heaven forgive me, the words just came to my lips. Sorry, doing those both with the British accent are blending more than I was hoping they would. Some fishy fellow from the Far East. Oh, what? Oh, we're talking about. Okay, I did click that. I clicked the first one. Whoops. There's no need for that, Mr. Garrideb.
That's right. Mr. Natsume is in no way fishy.
He is undeniably peculiar, however. Is it right that he took the vacancy immediately after the previous tenant passed away? Yes, that's right. I asked the estate agent to find someone and he popped up the very same day. Never come across a chap so keen for a place with a background, as it were. I don't think it was the room's background he was keen on so much as the cheap rent, actually.
So, how long has Mr. Shamspear been lodging under your roof?
That failed actor chap? Let me see. Oh, of course. Yes, it's been 3 months now. Quite sure of it. Only 3 months. He's quite new here too, then. And to what do you owe your certainty in that regard, Mr. Garrideb, if I might ask? Well, it was that Selden scoundrel, as it happens. Selden? The convict, you mean? Do Selden and Shamspeare have some kind of connection, then? That convict chap, Selden, passed away in the clink 3 months ago now, you see. Some malady or other.
Yes, we've seen the report from the newspaper at the time.
Well, it was only 3 days later that the tragedian showed his face, the actor fellow.
Really?
Yes, I remember it quite distinctly. 'Tis small this world we inhabit. Prithee, landlord, hear my request. I, the humble Shamspeare, do desire to take thy room on the middle floor offered erewhile for rent. Terribly sorry and whatnot, but that won't be possible. Already have a lodger on the middle floor. Ground floor rooms vacant, though. Nothing can be made out of nothing. Let me repeat mine will unto thee. Oop. Sorry. Not attractive, I know. Those curls must be muffling your ears. The room on the middle floor's taken. It's ground floor or nothing. Very well, we have an accord. Glad to hear it. Welcome to Briar Road. Lo, is Shamspeare dance to celebrate? He wanted Selden's room. Uh-huh. From what I heard in court today, sounds like the chap was thieving gas. And he was 3 months in arrears with the rent, too. Yes, the fellow was a bally player, all right. Thank you for your candor, Mr. Garrideb. We are most grateful. By way of appreciation, allow me to say 1 or 2 words. Give me my robe, put on my crown. I have immortal longings in me. What's happened to you? Shakespeare, my dear fellow. One of his most famous lines. Whoops. Totally clicked off my screen. I wish to divulge my own learning of the subject, for I have a turn for literature too, you know. Perhaps you could turn your attention to more apt lines, then. Alright. I'm gonna wrap up soon because my voice is definitely getting hoarse. But I have one more thing I want to show him, and that's the picture. Mr. Garrideb, could I ask you to look at this photograph? Look at this photograph! Is that your son who's with you there? No, not at all. He was a lodger here once. Duncan Ross was his name. Duncan Ross. A street photographer happened to be passing, so I asked him to take a shot, just for kicks, really.
Was he by any chance the lodger before Mr. Natsume?
Yes, that's right. Ah, the young gentleman who died in the room in mysterious circumstances. Just what Mr. Mustache was waiting for, one might say. Yes, young Duncan lived in the room at the top of the first flight of stairs before that Japanese chap. Would you mind telling us a little more about him? Yes, Duncan Ross. Young chap was attending art school. Had to work to pay for it, mind. Moved into the middle floor room about a year ago after that criminal Selden was arrested. Young students are always on the hunt for rooms with a history behind them. A history of cheap rent, maybe, yes. Yes, well, anyway, it was one morning about a month ago now. Hadn't quite worked out the old trick of watching the gas lamps to see what my lodgers are up to at the time. So sadly, I was rather tardy to discover what had happened. Smell of gas that alerted me it was. Ah, yes, synonymous with the smell of death. Called the police straight away, of course, and the officer kicked the door off its hinges. But once we got inside, we all barely collapsed. Because of the gas. Yes, room was full of it. No air at all. Stove must have gone out while the poor chap was sleeping in his bed. So, Mr. Ross suffocated to death. Of course, the police gave me a sound ticking off because the gas pipes were so old and all that. Can't tell you how much it set me back to have the lot replaced all over the house. But even after you had all that work done, Mr. Natsume says the same thing. That the stove goes out at night whilst he's asleep in bed. Well, that's the bally curse, the convict's curse. I've done my duty as a landlord now. Someone's feeling defensive. Something's wrong with this picture here. Ah, that reminds me, actually. Yes? About young Duncan, the night before the poor chap perished. He'd been writing a letter. A letter of affection to a young lady.
A love letter, you mean?
Yes, where did I put it now? Ah, here it is. Left it on my desk. If you'll excuse me, let me see now. What does it say? To my most beautiful and charming sweetheart.
Do you think we should be reading such a personal piece of correspondence?
My dear Miss Susato, that is precisely why I prefaced my reading with, if you'll excuse me.
I will not excuse you, Mr. Sholmes. No! Bad, Mr. Sholmes. You need a spanking.
You know she wants to say that, secretly. Sadly, he didn't address it, though. So I have no means of delivering the thing. Rather sad, really. I see. It's going to play on my mind.
But really, the identity of Mr. Ross's sweetheart has no bearing on the case. I think we should leave well alone.
Yes, I suppose you're right. Indeed, the intended recipient's address is missing, however. There is a name attributed to the man's most beautiful and charming sweetheart.
Mr. Sholmes, please! I've already had to chastise you about this once.
My undying love to you. Oops. My undying love to you, my colorful darling, Olive Green.
Ah!
Olive Green? The woman who was plunged into a coma after a knife plunged into her back outside the house 5 days ago! The victim of the last case Oseki-san was in court for, who regained consciousness only yesterday. Is it just chance that her name has come up now? Could it possibly be a mere coincidence?
Mr. Naruhodo, whatever can this mean?
Reading personal correspondence can have its merits, you see, Miss Susato. Alright, I'm not sure how much longer this chapter is, but my voice is definitely going. I think I gave Mr. Gyaradev something maybe a little too deep, maybe a little too gruff, but it's definitely starting to take its toll. But we've been streaming for about 3 hours now, so that feels like a decent amount of progress we've made in this game. So, I'm going to call it here. How many people are here? We got a couple lurkers. I guess I'll raid, send it off, see who's online right now and available. You know what? Mono's playing right now, and I haven't sent you guys to Mono in a while, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Mono Nani. God, I gotta remember how to spell that one. That one's hard. / raid Mono Nani. He's also playing Resident Evil 6 right now, which... I love Resident Evil. 6 is definitely least favorite, so... I only have a couple viewers right now anyway, so... You guys don't have to stay, just, you know... He is a cool guy. I like him. Alright, so... While that raid loads up, just a couple quick shout-outs for my favorite people. Professor Lycan, thank you so much for the 69 biddies. Really appreciate it. Gonna turn that right around back into the stream. Dragon, Spooker, thank you so much for the 17-month resubscribe again. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much, Spooks. Dr. Console with the raid, thank you, sir. Hate Crew with the raid, you guys are the best. DJ Pablo for the new follow. Thank you so much, sir. And then for everyone that chatted, that's that guy, that's Diva, that's Mochi, that's Spooker, that's DRC, that's Pablo, that's... I'm going to miss a lot of people. That's Casual, that's Hate, that's... Well, I can't scroll back much further, but again, if I missed your name, I really apologize. Just know that you joining me for even the smallest amount of time and chatting means the world to me. So thank you so much, guys, for hanging out. I'm going to play maybe some more Mortuary Assistant on Wednesday just to get those last endings, because we did leave off missing a lot of stuff, and I'm really curious to figure that one out. But until then, just make sure to take care of yourselves, stay hydrated, stay healthy, and I look forward to my next chance I get to play with all y'all. So take care.